2020 that I spent $26.99 on. I'm going to destroy it. Fuck you! Tenet.
Hello and welcome to yet another dimension. I am Jeremy. Unfortunately, this is Electric Copy himself,
Christopher Nolan.
How
I'm
you
gonna
doing?
be the insert in his films for today.
Insert. Okay.
By slicking my hair back as much as I can. Because
Yeah.
it doesn't really. My hair doesn't.
Explain metaphysics to everybody.
Yeah. It's pretty obvious. It's not metaphysics, man. It's physics.
It's just physics. It's not.
It's quantum physics.
Quantum. I'm
so
sorry.
Fucking stupid. How can you go see a movie if you
They
don't?
wouldn't let me
understand
in your last
quantum
movie. I
physics?
didn't have a high enough IQ.
Well, I bet they wouldn't. And your hair isn't even slicked back. You're a male. What are you doing? Every man character in every movie slicks his hair back.
It doesn't work that way, man. I'd like to introduce to you black people, black hairstyles. It doesn't really work that way.
The protagonist?
The protagonist in Tenet. But
why are we here today?
we're here because we decided to watch all of Christopher Nolan's movies, all 11 of them.
Is that the number?
Yes, it's a number, and we're gonna rank them.
All
No, back and forth. Like you're 11, my 11, you're 10, you're 10.
Right.
And then wherever's higher on the list, we'll talk about that movie.
All right.
And we know what's at number 11, but thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and let us know what your favorite Nolan movie is. But let's get into it. You go first, sir. No. Well, no. Let me go first. You will have the last pick, okay?
What do you think is the worst Christopher Nolan movie?
Well, there was two choices for this. One movie, I think it's just super boring and it's not for me. The other movie,
The Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight,
Pretty lame.
yes.
Yeah.
That's maybe a little bit
I
higher.
can't believe that movie. People like The Dark Knight.
It's all right.
Man, I don't even like that man.
That Heath Ledger guy.
What a hack.
What a hack, man.
Yeah.
Anyways, but my number 11 is Tenet.
Really?
It's Tenet. Yes.
Really? You think Tenet is Christopher Nolan's worst movie? I do too, actually. It's my number 11 as well.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
I mean,
let's talk about it. What do you hate about this? Okay, so first things. So obviously we hate this movie. This is the last movie we seen. And what do you? First things first. Let's talk about what works for you in this movie. Is there anything that works at all?
I don't know, because here's
There's
the thing.
one thing that works for me.
The only thing I think that really works, I guess I like the action in times, but it's so inconsistent.
Yes.
That and half the time, especially in the climax of this movie, I had no fucking clue what was going on half the time. So like you wanted me to feel like the impact of stuff, but like sometimes I can't even see shit, or it happens so fast. I'm like, oh wow, okay. Or they use a really cool action piece of like a building coming back together to kill a character I didn't care about. Or no.
Exactly. I don't care what anything is going on in this movie.
The only thing I think that I really think kind of works for me is some of the performances. I think John David Washington is trying. I don't think he understands the movie.
I mean, he doesn't have a character.
Protagonist.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard. But I think everybody does well.
Yeah, Robert Pattinson and even Kenneth Branagh.
I think he does really well.
Villain.
He's kind of like intimidating. He's kind of like soft-spoken Russian.
And it's like not what I usually see him do. Because he was, I mean, we watched Harry Potter. He was Gilderoy Lockhart, the guy who's just
completely different.
Completely different. So, yeah, it was a pretty good performance by him. Kind of wasted on this fucking movie that I watched twice now.
Yeah, I've seen it twice.
Still don't understand it.
Man, so I seen this in the movie theater. I was like, oh man, a new Christopher Nolan movie. This is the first movie I've seen since the pandemic.
Yeah.
In my brain, it hurt so. I had the biggest headache. I'm like, man, I don't understand what the fuck is going on. I just gave up. I was like, let's just enjoy it. Turn my brain off because I couldn't. There's no like the stakes. There's stakes, I guess, but I don't know who I'm supposed to fear. Like, what is the impact of, like, I guess the world's gonna end. I don't know what's the impact of what's going on. But before, let's talk about. I like the music a lot.
The music. Oh, that was one thing I wanted to mention. Yeah, I think Hans Zimmer.
It's not him though.
Oh, it's not him.
No, I looked it up.
It really sounds like him.
It's similar. It's where is he at? It's Ludwig Göransson.
Well, never. Fuck you, Hans.
Exactly.
I guess it's not even you.
Guess, yeah, and I think this is
I even saw his name there though.
I guess maybe he helped it, but it says music by him.
Interesting.
And this is the only movie I think, well, since the modern day where he doesn't use Hans Zimmer. But it was unique. I like it.
The modern day.
Like
1998 was like.
Man, it's getting there now. The modern day.
Anyway,
Christopher Nolan.
But yeah, the music was cool. It was like sometimes it would like go in like reverse.
And I love when the music goes in reverse.
Yeah, it was that was one of the things that was kind of working for me. I think Dunkirk and Tenet both had really good music, and I think probably better than the past music from his movies, but
more memorable. Yeah, Hans Zimmer did Dunkirk.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I could tell.
But I like some action scenes too, and but it's just doesn't work for me. Not really anything else works for me in this.
You know what I kind of wish this movie is I wish instead of it being a 2.5 hour movie to explain itself.
Oh, it explains everything.
It just didn't explain anything. Yeah. I wish it was more like Lynchian and just abstract. Threw you into it. Yeah. And it was just like
up for interpretation.
Things go forward and things go backward. You don't know why. It doesn't really matter.
Because the answer is probably stupid anyways, and you'll probably be more confused. Because it's not clear what's going on.
Yeah.
And I don't really care what's going on. So what's the point?
He doesn't do a good job of making you care. The term show don't tell, right?
Oh yeah, he's doing a lot of telling.
He only tells. I feel like that's why we're supposed to the whole movie. I think stuff is getting sent back from some antagonist from the future.
Never seen this person.
Never mentioned, and we don't know what's gonna happen. I guess essentially they say that there's a climate change thing, which also they don't mention till the last 10 minutes of the movie. So I haven't felt the stakes of this whole movie until the end.
Yeah, you don't know why we should care about this whatever bomb or whatever they doing.
All they had to do was show it.
Yeah, or the algorithm thing.
I don't get what the algorithm was.
I've seen this movie twice. I read the plot. I still don't know why should I care or what's going on really.
Yeah, it's way too much. It's trying to do too much and it just falls flat. And then they don't make you care about anything that's going on because the people are soulless. I don't understand why. And this is something I have a problem with in most movies, but why does the protagonist, that's his name, why does he care about the woman?
You tell me.
I don't understand
why. He's a good guy, man.
He clearly either loves the villain's wife or something because he goes out of his fucking way.
Yeah.
But they never say it.
For her child that we never really interact with. Come on, man.
God,
you don't really need to know. You just think about the plot, how complex it is.
All I need is literally one scene between them where I can tell that he loves her.
Yeah,
that is all I need. But because there's no chemistry, and because everything's just forced and it's just all plot, there's just nothing. There's no heart. And I'm a plot guy. I love a good plot, but this one, it's not even executed well because everything you don't feel the stakes till the last 10 minutes, and I'm like, what? That's it. I did not know this movie was about this.
Yeah.
Because, tonally, it's too, they just introduce all this fucking shit throughout this movie. Oh, yeah, when fire goes backwards in time, it turns to ice. That's fucking sweet.
Yeah.
Why are you not spending the whole movie just doing stuff like this?
They try to pack so much into this movie to explain a concept that's just hard to understand, or should we even care what the stakes is? I don't know.
Do you even know what Tenet means?
I don't know. No. What does it mean? What does this movie mean? What is going on? I understand he's trying to do some crazy concept, but this doesn't translate well into the screen, unlike other movies.
No,
we're gonna talk about later.
I don't know how this would even work as a movie. I wish, I guess, if I had anything that I would change to make it work, I would have made Tenet just all action. There's no
Yeah, the worst parts are when they're talking about we're gonna do this next. This explain this area. That's the worst part.
And what's stupid is the movie he did before this, Dunkirk, is basically all
Imagine that with
action.
with Tenet though.
That's what I'm saying. Why don't you just do that? You already did. It was literally your last movie, but you're trying to put all this plot into it and make me care about people I don't care about with an unseen enemy.
That's what he does, man.
An unseen threat. How am I supposed to feel the impact of anything? All I even need, and you don't even need to like have it actually happen literally, but in your other movies, you show when people imagine stuff, right, or perceive stuff, right, just literally on screen. You see it. Right?
So you see the impact, like, oh,
exactly.
That's what happens. But if you just tell me a whole bunch of stuff, it doesn't have that impact. This is a movie.
He does it in Memento. He does it in Memento, where this guy's memory is flawed, and you see actual stuff of him remembering this other guy who can't remember stuff, and he's like an insurance agent or whatever, right? All that's made up, but you see it literally played out, so I feel it. I feel like it's real, because it feels real to the character. Yeah. So if the threat's real in this movie, I really need to fucking see it, because I have no clue why anybody cares about anything that's going on. I don't.
That climax is terrible.
It's
one
so
of the worst. It just feels because you like they have enemies out there, but they
literally come out of nowhere.
They're like enemy video game bots.
Yeah, they are.
Just soulless. Nobody cares.
They're NPCs. Yeah, they really are.
With no character. No character was like I hate that because there's no character in this. Why should I care about anybody in this?
It's honestly it's Nolan's worst movie, and I can't believe he directed this one because, I mean, he's been going kind of down in quality ever since, like, Interstellar, which I think is still a pretty good movie, but that's where it started to go, like, down for me, you know? And this one is this is bad. Like, this is Nolan's, I think, only actual bad movie. I don't think it's, like, okay. I think it's bad.
Honestly, I don't think it's okay at all. I would never want to watch this movie ever again.
Yeah.
It's like, it makes me mad. And not in a good way. It's super long. Maybe it was like an hour and a half, maybe.
Yeah, and look,
that's the only
guys,
case.
High concept movies. We've watched all his movies, right? So to say this means we've watched movies with high concepts. It's not that I just don't understand it. I just don't care. That's the thing. I don't want to understand it. You know? And other movies can balance that really well. Like, we just rewatched Interstellar. And I thought I understood most of what was going on that I needed to. And I don't understand physics, but I can understand, okay, what's happening for the story.
And I think that's more complex in Inception. He does a great job.
Inception is so perfect. We'll get to that. But it's balanced so well, the concept with the story, I think. So, yeah, he has no excuse to make Tenet. He really doesn't. It's just a bad movie. And he's mad that nobody liked it and nobody went to go see it in the theater. But you know what? You made a shitty movie, dude. Sorry. Like,
yeah. And he put so much time. You could tell he just put so much time into it.
Yeah.
Effort. It just didn't work.
No.
Sadly. I mean, you get one really bad movie. The next movie, well, I guess you just said yours is 11. It might be different, but I feel like this is the same thing.
Oh, Tenet was my worst. Okay. Yes. And then the next one.
Number 10
number
for
10
me is Dunkirk.
That's mine too.
Okay, yeah. All right. Let's talk about Dunkirk. This is the first time seeing this. You've seen the movie theater, right?
I saw it in the theater. Yeah.
So, what do you think of Dunkirk?
Well, the first time I saw it, I was like, "Wow, this is a weak movie." I just thought it was weak. I wasn't like, mad like I was after Tenet because I didn't really care that much. But I was just like, "Why did I need to watch this movie?"
It's takes place like during World War II. The British is stuck on this island. Is it called Dunkirk?
Yeah,
they're stuck on an island.
Dunkirk is the name of the area or city. I don't know.
The Germans have them stuck. You never. I guess it's the Germans. You never see them really.
Yeah, but, you never see the bad guys.
Another movie like that. I don't understand why he thinks he can get away with that, but that's what's going on, and it's straight up action. There's no character development, story, or it's just action, straight up, just going through the motions.
Yeah,
it's like what happened.
And
it's like a documentary.
I could be wrong, but I think the characters are just named like Soldier 1, Soldier 2.
Probably.
I could be wrong, but
it doesn't matter anyways. Do you remember anybody? Harry Styles
from One Direction.
And the only reason why I know that is because of that. Everybody else, so forgettable. Kenneth, what's his name?
Yeah, Kenneth Branagh was in this one too, as like a general or something for the British. And
look, if he was so people say this is a masterpiece. Even one of my favorite directors, Quentin Tarantino, he said this is his second favorite movie of the decade.
Oh no!
I seen this for the very first time. I was like, this is not for me. If it's for you guys, it's just not for me. I like character. I like crazy characters. actual plots. I don't know, witty dialogue sometimes, something going on, like a fantastical world. The contemporary, not even contemporary, but like the very realistic depiction of war. It's just doesn't do it for me ever, really.
But okay, you've seen Saving Private Ryan, right?
Yeah.
So that's I'd never been in a war, but no. I would imagine, and I've heard that Saving Private Ryan does that pretty well. And I think that's a fairly entertaining movie. I think it's a little overrated,
but it has character in it.
It does.
Character you care about.
And a story.
Yeah.
And look, and it's just like I think that's a realistic depiction of war. It's just done very well. So there's no excuse for Dunkirk to be as empty and boring as it is. You know,
maybe it was like a sci-fi world where it's just showing like how people live. Maybe I'll be more interested in that, in the way how Dunkirk was just showing the events and stuff, no character, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a scenario where I really like that
where you would just want something being told to you.
Yeah. Because it's I'm not really into documentaries like that. I don't know. Are you into documentaries?
I am if they're interesting.
Yeah, but I'm just not interested in this.
No.
Like, I don't understand. Like, there's not really a big difference to me between this and a documentary. I guess this are just a reenactment, and I'm just like, is it really worth it to me?
No, I feel the same way.
And I'm sure people like this. I mean, I've heard people love this movie. I don't understand that.
I don't get that.
Yeah.
I don't even get, like, it's all action, and somehow I'm still bored.
Yeah.
How?
I guess
I don't feel the impact of anything,
like
hardly.
The dogfighting with Tom Hardy. It's like, I guess it's realistic, but does that translate well into film, though?
I feel like I'm watching the same shot over and over again.
And it's not really that he likes that side shot of like of the vehicle. I'm not the vehicle, but the aircraft, like just shooting. What I don't know. I just don't get anything from this movie.
Yeah.
Did you?
I was bored as hell, and I don't know. If
I wanted to like it, but I just couldn't, man.
No, I don't really like war movies for the most part either.
I'm not the biggest fan either.
You kind of have to do something either different or interesting for me to care about a war movie. I liked the movie Fury with Brad Pitt because that's very character heavy. The characters were interesting. Like Shia LaBeouf is like a fucking asshole in that movie, right? Brad Pitt was interesting. I liked that movie.
Inglourious Bastards, I like that.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. And then even like 1917 that came out like 2 years after Dunkirk, it's way better. That's like an action movie where like I felt tense the whole time.
One shot, right?
It's one shot. Yeah. I think it worked well too because it's only like two characters, so I can care about the characters because I just follow these guys the whole time.
Yeah, and I didn't like how they just changing back and forth to different characters, like the guy on the boat, like you were talking about.
I don't give a fuck about this fucking guy and his fucking kid.
Bro, he's patriotic. He loves his
I don't
country.
even understand what he was trying to do. Was he trying to get supplies for the people? Like, what did he do? I don't even know what he was doing.
He doesn't even know. You don't even fucking know.
And like they try to make it interesting by bringing Cillian Murphy in it, who's like a shell-shocked soldier stranded in the water. And like they pull him into the boat, and he accidentally kills his kid in the most anticlimactic way by like pushing him downstairs.
Yeah, I guess it's just like maybe that's just realistic, and you don't always die in the most glorious ways. You just kind of die.
I mean, did this really happen? Did this part really happen, or is no one just making this up? Like I don't know.
You tell me. I don't fucking know.
This is a movie I never wanted to watch again.
Oh, I'll never watch this ever again.
I will say it was a little bit better in the theater than when we watched it here at home because, like, man, without the sound being as loud as it was in the theater, I just felt nothing. And every time someone got shot, I felt nothing.
I don't have surround sound, so I mean, we don't, but yeah, it was. I don't have really much to say because there's not really much to this movie other than the action.
Yeah, so this for me was Nolan's first forgettable movie that I've seen, and but I didn't think it's not shameful like Tenet is. Like at least it feels like a coherent vision, and like I could tell that Nolan wanted to make this movie and he cared about it, but he just doesn't do a very good job of making me care about it, So it's not as bad as Tenet.
It's not. I would suggest people if they like war movies. They like very minimal dialogue and story, and just like you want to see good shots. Looking at
pictures of old ships and old planes.
Yeah, hey man, if you're into that, I'm sure if you're into that, I see why you would like it.
Yeah,
but I would never want to watch this again. I like the music. That's like the thing I like the best.
I think this was one of Hans Zimmer's best scores for a Nolan movie for sure.
And the shot at the end with Tom Hardy's like burning.
That's the one shot I remember. That
It's the last shot. I think one of the last shots. Man, Tom Hardy, man, he gets all the easy shit, man.
that was pretty minimal
easiest
role.
He's just sitting down. Always had the mask on. I could have done that. Fuck. All right. Anyways, let's move on. So I think our list is gonna like diverge.
It might start to diverge from this. I mean, we just watched those two recently.
From what you're saying, I think it's gonna be different from what you just said. A couple.
Yeah, it might be.
Wait. Yeah.
What's your number 9 then?
Don't look over here. I got. Don't look over. So my number 9. Can you guess it?
Insomnia. That's mine too.
Oh fuck.
Well, no. Okay, look. I mean.
So do
this
you
makes
like?
Sense.
Yeah. So this is the first time I ever seen Insomnia. You've seen it before, right?
Yeah, I watched.
You've seen all his movies, right?
Yeah, I watched all his movies.
All right,
yeah.
First time ever. You didn't see, this is 2002. Yeah, it came out 2002.
No, I saw it on it was on Netflix early or late 2000s, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I was watching it. Like after I saw the Dark Knight and stuff, I was man, I want to see what other movies this guy made. So I watched Insomnia as well.
So this came out 2002. This is a remake of a Norwegian movie of the same name.
Oh, it's a remake?
Yeah, it's a remake from 97. So he remade a movie 5 years
Well,
later.
if it's a Norwegian one, I see why. Because they do that a lot with the movies. Like, they remake them for the American market. Like, The Ring or The Grudge. You know, like...
I guess, Christopher Nolan, I guess he was a young director back then. Yeah, I guess that makes... Because I'm thinking, like, Christopher Nolan, he just does whatever he wants now. He really does.
Yeah.
But now, like, back then, I guess he's more proven himself.
That was his first Warner Brothers movie, too, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it stars Al Pacino and Robin Williams, and it's about a detective going to Alaska, trying to solve a murder.
Yeah.
And it's always daytime. I forgot. I didn't know this thing until like recently.
Yeah.
It's like always daytime, even at night. I guess
There's certain like seasons where like the sun is out for like 23 hours a day or something.
That's weird. Yeah, that will fuck me up. I understand how they do that, and but there's also a subplot where he's like in trouble in internal affairs. Al Pacino is.
Yeah.
And his partner is gonna snitch on him basically, so he can have immunity. Yeah. So what you think of Insomnia? You might not like it as much, as much as I thought you would. I thought you would like this more.
Oh no. I mean, there's not really much to it. That's why, like, it
doesn't feel like a Nolan movie to me.
No, it doesn't. It's not, and you know what? It's weird. He already made Memento before this, which I think is a much better movie, like much better. But it's just it's kind of forgettable. I mean, like Al Pacino. I've never seen Al Pacino deliver a bad performance.
Yeah.
I don't think I will.
He has that scream he does. He's like, he's just entertaining. He's entertaining to watch.
Yeah, and
but the
Robin Williams. So you didn't like him? I thought it was okay, but
I just didn't believe him as the. I don't know. He just didn't do it for me as the villain. I never believed that he didn't actually do it. I always thought he actually killed her.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if you want to question it.
I don't know. What else is it to the movie then? Like what?
Well, I feel it's more about Pacino because like he like Robin Williams was gonna go to like the people, so it's like he's got to balance whether or not he wants to admit what he did to Eternal Affairs and get fired or lose his job and lose his reputation, I suppose. So that's what the conflict more is than like did Robin Williams kill his girl? Because I'm pretty sure he admits to doing it.
I thought that it was kind of like they were like, oh, they're trying. He might not have done it. That's what I got from the movie.
Oh, I didn't think so.
Okay, all right. Well, I guess I was wrong. I don't know. But so I was excited to see those two together and on screen. Yeah. Because I don't think I ever seen it, and it just didn't do it for me. I don't know. It wasn't working for me.
It's big names for not a lot of payoff.
I was excited to see Robin Williams as the villain.
Yeah.
The antagonist. I don't know. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple like shots or like sequences that I thought were kind of cool, like when he's first going through the fog and he ends up shooting his partner.
Yeah,
like,
that was a good scene.
That was a cool scene. Yeah. I like the scene where when he's first chasing Robin Williams, and then even the one where he meets him on like a ferry, and you kind of see the killer for the first time, and he's just like, he's Robin Williams, and he's really calm about it, and I thought it was kind of interesting. I like when like someone really dangerous is like hiding in plain sight, like in public. Because it makes me feel nervous because it feels like that could happen anywhere.
Yeah, but it's just, I guess with the performance, I don't know, it just wasn't working for me. I don't know why. I didn't feel threatened by him at all. I didn't know it wasn't like tense. I don't know. I just thought it would be all right at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this movie has a lot in it that's really all that interesting, and it's a little too long for something that doesn't have that much.
Yeah, it has it's like light plot.
Yeah, so
and also Hilary Swank, like, what is she doing in this movie really? I guess she is kind of uncovering Al Pacino's characters, like what he did.
Yeah, and she's kind of the one that solves the murders, basically.
Yeah, but I don't know. She's not really. There's no development with her, so. I don't know. It's more focused on Al Pacino, and then she solves the crime.
She's kind of like the sidekick, carrying on the legacy of Pacino, I think.
I guess I wish they had more screen time together.
Yeah.
To build the relationship, because like I don't know if I want to spoil this.
Well, we already kind of spoiled the whole movie.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't know. I mean,
we're gonna spoil most of these movies. So if you haven't seen them, don't watch this because we're probably gonna spoil it. But like, comment, and subscribe, and give us more views. Thank you.
Thank you. But at the end, I don't know. It's I guess because she doesn't throw away the bullet, right? She keeps the bullet, and he didn't want her to lose her way, right?
Yeah.
Because he covered up. I mean, he planted evidence for the crime that he was like about to be convicted for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he shot his own partner, and I think that's what he was trying to like.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So he gave her. He wanted her to not turn into like a dirty cop like him. I think he which I guess for the sake of this plot makes sense. It works.
I mean, it's a decent movie.
Yeah, this is not like a memorable movie I will rewatch outside of ranking Nolan.
I probably
movies,
will never want to watch it again.
But
it's not a bad movie.
No, it was good. Yeah. It was good. It was decent.
It's just like
But it's definitely just compared to all his other movies, which are a lot more exciting or interesting. It's just like it's pretty forgettable.
I mean, if this was just like an average director, it would probably be a good movie. But it's a Christopher Nolan, though.
Yeah.
So, but this is earlier in his career, so he started getting, get his footing, like what's he want to do, and I see, telltale signs of what's gonna happen in the future. I mean, it's a decent movie.
Yeah.
But. Anything else?
No, I don't have much feeling towards this one. So
yeah, it just made me sleepy.
Forgettable.
Yeah.
So
number 8, a Batman movie.
Oh, it is gonna be different then.
Yep, I told.
Well, I know which one it is then.
The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
I do not like this movie, man. Not anymore. Not really as much. I thought when I first seen it, I was like, "Oh, this is good," but it's not as good as Dark Knight.
Yeah.
After watching it again, man, this movie has problems.
Oh, it does have problems, and I do think it's the weakest. I mean, it's easily the weakest to the trilogy.
I wouldn't say it's a bad movie.
No, it's not bad.
It's just not. I like his other movies more though.
What I think this movie tries to do is just too much. Like,
there's so many fucking characters.
Yeah, and they try to give them all and I think it really starts to show at the climax when they're like cutting back to everyone. And man, this movie just cuts so much from everything. It tries to make you feel like there's action all the time. Yeah. But even like at the end, this is the sequence that sticks out to me the most because it gets so much screen time. Is when Joseph Gordon-Levitt has like this bus of kids and they're trying to get over a bridge. And that's literally the whole plot for him, this climax. And it takes up like 10 minutes of screen time.
He takes up way too much screen time. Because why is he in this movie? If you took him out this movie, would it really change much?
I guess, so here's the only thing I can think of is that he's kind of like Hilary Swank in the last movie, right?
See, I didn't like her character either.
No, but he carries on the legacy for Batman. I think it makes sense. If Bruce Wayne dies, that makes sense.
It makes sense, but I don't know. It's just him, though. He's lame, man. It's just... I understand
it's not done very well, but you know why? Because this isn't a Batman and Robin movie.
Yeah.
Because they didn't really develop him. It's like trying to be Batman.
Should have been in the other movies.
He should have been, or this should have been about him making a legacy. Like, that's the thing. It's 5 different fucking movies. It's Batman in Nightfall, which is like the comic where he gets destroyed by Bane and comes back, right? And it's also it involves Talia, a romance with Talia, because surprise, surprise, the girl who's introduced in this movie is Talia al Ghul. Man, didn't see that coming. Look, any Batman fan would have known. I'm just saying. Everyone I knew was surprised. Like, oh, I didn't see that coming. I was like, bitch, I knew who that was. Who the fuck is Miranda Tate? It's clearly Talia.
So you want to talk about it later when it's on your list?
I'll talk about it. But since it's on your list, I'll admit it has problems. But I was just trying to say, I think the biggest one is it's just like too much. There's too much going on.
Way too much.
Way too much.
It doesn't work. We'll talk about it more when it gets to your list. How about
okay, all right. If you want to sideline it.
Well, I like this a lot less than I did before.
I did too, but I liked one a little bit less than this because I think there's so much in The Dark Knight Rises. There are things I like, so I'll talk about that. But anyway, my number 8 was Following, which was Nolan's first movie.
He made it's independent. Do you know the story kind of behind it?
Not really, no.
Okay. So he was filming it. He spent all his money on like the film, that like really good film for it, and it was just like his friends that owed him favors, and they would just film on the weekends like 2 hours a day.
It seems that way.
It took like a long time to make. So it was like, it was like guerrilla filmmaking. They just used natural lighting.
It seems like a student film, but not in a bad way.
No, I think I like this movie. I like the concept of it a lot. But go ahead, you can talk about it.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, you know why I like it more than like Insomnia or Dunkirk or Tenet? It's like this one at least has like a very clear tone. Like it's very like neo-noir.
I love that.
It's all black and white, and it looks pretty dark in a lot of shots. It just feels kind of gritty, and and at least has an interesting concept because like this guy, I've always like had like this like want to follow people around and just see where they go, because just out of sheer curiosity, it's like weird that you actually see somebody like fulfill it out to like an actual dangerous level, and he ends up getting involved with like a femme fatale, and they basically set him up for her murder. It's just like crazy, but this was pretty good. I don't have much to say. I liked it. I love the mood. This is one of Nolan's most stylish movies, and it's his first movie.
That's why I like it so much.
So I don't think most people will think it's like amazing, and I bet most people won't even like it because it doesn't have Batman or it's not big blockbuster Nolan. But honestly, it's a lot better than like Tenet.
Oh man,
so much better,
so much. And this is his first movie, and he did like really good. His first movie, and like the circumstances behind it. Yeah, I gotta commend him for it.
Yeah,
I understand
how
he got
a lot of work into it. It's a passion project.
Yeah, I see where he really puts a lot of work into it. I gotta say that all his movies, like he doesn't bullshit it.
Yeah,
it doesn't always work, but at least he tries. Like most movies that come out, so I gotta commend him for it.
Yeah. So. I don't have much to say, but I did like it. I thought the premise is interesting. I cared enough about the main character so that when he gets fucked at the end, I was like, oh shit, it's crazy. I think this was before he got too grand.
Oh man, yeah.
With his ideas to where
I like small stories. I like this me, so that's why I like it so much.
I mean, like there's a lot of characters in like other movies like Inception, but I think Leo's character is still like the driving force, so you're really only forced to care about him, and I think that works a lot better, and you do feel the stakes. I don't get to that, but I'm just trying to say like he can do it. He can balance out a lot of characters sometimes. But at this one I think it works because he didn't try to do that. He's just like, I have these, there's like really only 3 characters in the whole movie. It's really really tiny cast, and I mean the acting is, it's independent. Not great, but
it feels unique. I like for me, I don't always like professional. I guess I like the amateur feel to it. I really like it. It doesn't really take me out of it.
No, it didn't for me either.
But what take me out of it is some of like the fighting scenes. Now that is the worst.
Yeah, the fighting. There's like punches
really
that look really.
It looks like one of my fucking fighting scenes. Man. I was like, man, yeah. So
you can tell they're not trying to hurt each other.
One of the, yeah.
And
it's pretty bad.
But it's not. It's still a pretty solid movie. So that's my number 8.
7 is Following.
Okay, so we're gonna flip flop because my number 7 is The Dark Knight Rises. So
you see, yeah. All right. So you want to talk about? Well, The Following, I mean, you explained it really well. I like the concept of it a lot. I'm always interested in what people have when I come to somebody's house, what they have in their house, and like would they really miss it if it's gone? Like I like that. I never like the concept.
Start moving your games out.
See, look, that would fuck with me. Is like I love the concept of that. And I like it's only like an hour or so long. and it just gets the shit in and gets out, and it tells a story. And I love neo noir movies a lot. Black and white. I love black and white movies. So it just works for me. I mean, you explained it pretty well. There's not really much I can add to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the most like you're not gonna like. But you know, this is watchable again. I think this is one that like I might want to actually revisit and watch.
Just put it on.
And,
get that mood. That stylized.
Right, it has a mood. Like it's something like you could, if you're in like a gloomy mood, it might be good to watch. You know, like other movies of his, the rewatchability is pretty limited. You know, like Dunkirk. I'm never gonna be in the mood to watch Dunkirk. No, like sorry.
It's just my type of movie, and I mean, his other movies are probably way better, but under the circumstances, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So for his first movie, that came out in '98. So
yeah, it's a very good first movie. So
Dark Knight Rises. Okay.
Dark Knight Rises is my number 7, and
so you like it a little bit more than me, but
yeah,
I have a man. Okay, what doesn't work for me? Catwoman. Do you like her?
I think she's okay.
She's okay.
Look, I think she's actually performed. I think her character is like. I think she performs exactly what Nolan wrote her character to be. She's not as sexy as like Michelle Pfeiffer.
See, I like that. I like my Catwoman to be sexy.
I think she should be sexy. I think she's kind of like asexualized in this movie, which I don't like because Catwoman always has that sex to her.
That's like her character. She's a femme fatale.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like there's a way to balance that out, and it's almost like, you know, because you kind of see the femme fatale in Maul and Inception. Mm-hmm. I felt that way.
No,
like, she's hot, but she's dangerous. You know, like I feel like that's what I kind of wanted from Catwoman. And I mean, I don't like her always when she's like over sexualized and male gazy. So I don't mind that they toned down for like a realistic like thing, but they almost like desexualized her, which is like
we need a balance.
Extreme. Yeah,
we need a balance. Yeah, like you fit in the world of Nolan movies where the Batman movies, his are really realistic, gritty, realistic. So I understand that.
I think Michelle Pfeiffer is probably the best Catwoman. Honestly.
Yeah, and I used to watch that movie a lot as a kid. Like the scene where she actually like turns into Catwoman. I love that scene. But I mean, she did okay. She did. It's not the biggest. But
you know what? She does not need to be in this fucking movie at all.
That's the main reason.
That's why it's the biggest problem.
Why is she in this? What is real impact? I guess she stop Bane at the end.
She kills him with the motorcycle.
Yeah, so
but, I mean that could have been anything. Like
I don't know.
If you're gonna make it's like they try to do too much. Like they try to do a Batman Catwoman story, like a love story, and I'm supposed to believe it by the end of this movie. Not gonna happen.
No, I don't believe any of the romance in this.
They do the Batman Talia love story.
Don't believe that.
Also, don't believe that. They do Batman and Robin.
Don't believe that.
They do, and then they do Nightfall, which is like where Bane breaks Batman. And in the comics, like when that happens, when he breaks Batman's back, this guy named Azrael steps up and like takes over for Batman and like wears like a giant like mech suit and basically becomes Batman. And then Batman comes back and whoops Azrael's ass and then Bane's ass. And that's Batman's like redemption in like the comics. So it's like,
you know what?
What?
Maybe this should have been like 2 different movies.
Maybe. Or just like focus like on one story. You can't do it all, you know. And no one wants to do a trilogy. I say just go out doing Bane's story. If they would have just done the story where like he breaks Batman's back, Batman goes into the prison, has to climb his way out. That's like a good redemption arc for Batman, who's who's like been like downtrodden after the Dark Knight because the Dark Knight was like his breaking point. Like he got fucked up in that movie.
He's been gone for 8 years.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, that's a long time and he just shows up and it's a big deal.
Exactly.
Honestly,
that's what I think is done well. Is like Batman's like he's like in a shit mood at the beginning of this movie and it feels gloomy. This does not feel like a happy movie at all.
No.
It doesn't feel like it's going Batman's way. And then by the end, he's got like this rising arc, and I feel like it works. And then at the peak of it, he knows he has to sacrifice himself. Is it done well? No. But on paper, I think the idea of that, of like knowing that this is the end, he's got to finish it, all that's fine. And he could have done that, and if they would have just focused on like versus Bane, or versus whatever enemy it is, it would have been a lot better.
What do you think of Bane in this movie? I think obviously you can't compete with one of the greatest performances.
Yeah, I know the Joker is hard to follow. I think Bane gets shit on a lot. I'll admit the voice questionable.
Man, it's super goofy to me.
It's
hard for me to take him serious. I'm sorry.
No, it is.
It's funny.
It's fair.
He's intimidating. There is very intimidating moments when he when the guy he's working with, he kind of like breaks his neck.
Yeah.
Like that's intimidating. I mean, and he like the fight scene with him and Batman, the first one.
Yeah.
It's good, but I don't know. It just doesn't work as much to me.
I wish he wasn't as flamboyant.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like Bane to me.
No.
Yeah.
No, Bane is like intense. Bane like he's like good at matching Batman like intellectually and physically, but he's not like traditionally like the Joker. Like he's
That's
not.
what
like,
he feels like. He feels more like the Joker.
And it's weird
He's
because
too playful.
In Nolan's like world where everything's so grounded and serious, it almost doesn't work. You know, it works for Joker. It just doesn't really work for
because Joker,
Bane.
That's what he is. You know, that's part of his character.
Right.
Bane, but no, not really for me. So that it's like coming from that.
I think he's okay. I think he gets more hate than he deserves. Tom Hardy's Bane, but it's definitely watching it back. I'm like, yeah, it could be better.
And also, what I hate about this they just shit on Bane though. He just I guess that's part of the comic books. He's just like the lackey for Talia.
Oh, it made me so mad.
That's so bad.
That's not even his like story. Like,
that's okay. I didn't know that was. Is that his story? I didn't know. I didn't like the and also Talia is not established too much. Like she just out of nowhere she's the the main antagonist now.
Yeah.
She stabs him.
Well, it's because they spent the whole movie doing the bait and switch, making you think that Bane's the bad guy. So now it's like, well, we don't have any development for the person who is the bad guy because everything she did that was realistic was fake.
That's like one of the worst twists he's ever done.
Yeah, that one's pretty bad.
It was so weak. And then one of the worst death scenes in a big budget movie.
It's memorably bad.
I can't believe what I was watching.
When I watched it the first time, I thought that is the worst part of this movie, and I can't believe that it like made the final cut. But like when Talia dies, she literally like physically, you see her die.
You can't.
When does
not
that ever
notice
happen?
It was just weird. It was weird, and like the editing is bad. When Batman comes back for the first time, and he sees Gordon. It's just a terrible cut. It's a big scene. He hasn't seen... Well, I don't know. Yeah, Gordon hasn't interacted with Batman in 8 years. After Gordon got shot.
Yeah. No, you mean when he's in the hospital?
He's in the hospital.
So, like, he's in the hospital, and Bruce is, like, kind of, like, got his mask... Not, like, he's not in bat suit, but he's, like, propelling down the window or something. And, like, they just show him doing that. Next scene, he's in Gordon's hospital room. And
it's like that throughout like a lot of the movies. It's a little choppy.
Oh, it's very choppy. And you know what? My theory was, I told you, and I don't know if this is true, but what I think it is, if I had to guess, is that they wanted to cut this movie under 3 hours because audiences can't watch a 3-hour movie, right?
I guess not.
So I feel like Nolan had to cut a lot of it. But I don't know, because it seems like a lot of his movies he does those choppy cuts, but this one's just the worst. It's like...
I really noticed it.
Yeah, it's really noticeable. I feel like if this movie was just three hours, like maybe 3 hours and 10 minutes, you would have got all those little seconds of time to just like make a shot a little bit longer, make me feel something, stay on a shot. You know, like let me feel like... And there's so many bad cuts. Like the one of the guy, the cop who like was going to sit out of the final fight. Another story, it just didn't need to be in this movie.
Why?
And then he shows up and he dies the most unceremonious way. You know, they just cut to him dead on the ground. It's like... It's
bad, man.
It's really bad, you know?
It's too bloated. It's too bloated of a movie.
It is. And I really... Like, when I saw it in theaters, I liked it a lot. I do think that there's a lot of stuff that works for me. I think it is a good, like, final conclusion for Batman's character. But I just wish they would have cut out so much of it. I honestly wish, if anything, that if they're going to do like 2 stories in this movie, I wish it was just like Batman and Robin or John Blake. Because it can't be Robin, right?
It's too obvious, huh?
I hate how Nolan spent years saying he would never put Robin in his movies. Then he makes this cop character. And at the very end of this movie, they're like, oh, you should use your legal name, Robin. Fuck you, Nolan. Like, just make Robin. I want a good screen Robin. I had Chris O'Donnell for 2 fucking movies.
What? You don't miss
a fucking
the
25-year-old teenager or 30-year-old teenager, however old he's supposed to be. Why is Bruce even adopting a fucking 25-year-old? It's fucking weird.
Let's stay on the Dark Knight Rises.
But my point is,
don't go into...
Well, it's just like, if you're gonna do this, if you're gonna make this movie and include not Robin, then why don't you make him, you know, like moving your legacy forward to him, more like it's stupid because like John's character, he learns from Gordon that he can't trust the system because he learns that Gordon's thing like, oh, he lied about Harvey Dent and stuff and all that crap. He doesn't even learn it from Batman, who's like the person who's like taking over his legacy, who worked outside the law. You know, I just wish they would have focused on that. Like, just there's too much going on.
There's a lot of issues with this movie. That's why I put it so low, because the other movies are so much better to me.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's a terrible movie. Yeah, I mean, I like the scene where like the football field's crumbling, like the takeover of Gotham.
Yeah, there's a lot of memorable moments. Yeah,
and also the bat. I mean, it's cool when the flying.
The not Batwing.
Yeah, the Batwing.
See, he doesn't have Robin, and he doesn't have the Batwing. Yeah, it's called the Bat.
So, like the other two movies, I think are better than this.
Yeah, they are. They are for sure.
So, anything else you want to talk about?
No, I've ranted enough, but I am disappointed because watching this back, I definitely didn't like it as much, and I feel like there's a lot of missed opportunities to But I mean, it's not a bad movie.
I would still watch it. I would still watch it.
It's not like Tenet where it's like disgustingly awful and like I hate it and want to smash the DVD. It's not like that, right?
Like the next few movies I really like. After this I really like.
Yeah, I think almost every movie after this is like pretty good. Pretty good to God tier.
Yeah. So yeah, like some of the best movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Wait. So am I next? So that was. I had number 7 following. You had Dark Knight Rises, number 7, right?
Yeah, that was my number 7.
All right.
So number 6.
Number 6. What do you think it is?
Interstellar.
No.
Oh, I know, because you didn't like The Prestige, right?
Memento.
No!
I told you.
You are not putting Memento that low.
Why do you think I'm putting it that low?
Undo this list, man!
You're going to be mad at this list, I'm telling you. I told you this is going to be interesting.
Fuck this shit, man.
Memento. Came out 2000. His second movie. His coming out party. Yeah. What a great concept. Do you want to explain the concept for us? Or you just
Do you mean the film?
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't really know a lot about this character. Uh-huh. He has a shitty memory. And the whole movie...
Amnesia.
Plays out chronologically backwards. So you start out like you see an event happen. At the end of that scene, that was like the last thing you see. But the beginning of the scene you just saw, that's going to be the end of the next scene. And that sounds confusing.
And he shows it really well with, the scenes they're going forward is in black and white, right?
The scene going forward in time is in black and white.
And then the color is going
backwards.
The end to begin. Okay,
yeah.
So it could be confusing, just talk about it, but it does it really well. Start.
I think if you watch this movie first 15 minutes before you realize what's going on, and before you realize the sequence of events, you're like, oh, this is really confusing, but... Yeah, I think it's done very well. I think it's done very well, Tori. It's very understandable.
This movie's great.
Interesting.
This is a great movie. Okay?
Yeah.
I love it. I loved the first time. Oh, man, this is insane. Second time, this is really good. Third time, oh, yeah, I know what's going on. It's just the plot, man. It's just there. I understand what's going on. I'm not surprised by it anymore. So it doesn't have the impact.
So you're saying it loses the rewatchability?
Yeah, the rewatchability is just it's not as strong. I know the plot, so it doesn't have that oomph to me.
Fair.
That's my biggest problem with this movie. Everything else is great. I think the acting, the cinematography, the music is great.
Because you know what? The way this movie delivers its clues, it's not like something like Hereditary, where like if you go and rewatch it back, knowing the ending, you can see a lot of like the seeds planted throughout, and it makes a little more sense, right? Like this movie, it's more like everything is played out in the plot, So it's like to rewatch it, you literally just you're not like misdirected, really.
No.
You're more like informed piecemeal, I guess, is the best way I can put it. So I can see that. Like, you aren't really blown away by the ending anymore because you've seen it and you know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I know what's going to happen. And, the next time, I know what's going to happen. I guess I need to take big breaks from watching this movie so I can forget it, but I usually remember what happens in movies. Like, I know the plot.
Yeah, you're going to remember the big strokes, for
sure.
But
I do like, the acting and all that. I'm not saying this is a bad movie. This is a great movie.
I can't believe you put it as number 6.
Great movie,
Get the fuck out of here.
But, there's no really it's just straight up the plot's moving forward and forward.
That's true.
So it's just that,
Yeah.
What else is there to it?
I think the pure cinematics of it are like one of Nolan's best because this is like I like when he tried to fuck with time in movies, you know, and he does it later.
He does non-linear really well.
Yeah, he does it in like Inception to a degree, and he does it in Tenet pretty poorly, but this is done really well. This is what I wish Tenet was more like.
Oh yeah,
stuff going forward and backwards.
Yeah,
you know?
he did it. He can do something like that.
Yeah,
he just I think it's just too bloated, too much going on.
Probably. Yeah, and he didn't have to explain any kind of big concept in Memento because it's all realistic. It's just that this guy's memory is unreliable. So
and I love how he uses the tattoos to it's like so great.
It's very thought out because it's like, well, yeah, I mean, you got to think about what this guy would do if he didn't trust himself, basically, right? So he'd have to tattoo himself, and yeah, I mean, I think this is one of his best movies. But we're getting to the good stuff now, so yeah. But I can't believe you like that less than Interstellar.
Oh no. Of course not. Interstellar is way better than this, man.
Oh man. All right. Well,
how do you like Memento more than there? All right, we'll talk about it. It's the plot, man. What else is there to it?
We'll talk about it.
I've seen
are you done?
I've seen it many times.
So are you done with this blasphemy?
There's no impact, man.
Oh,
it's just
God.
like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. Okay, yeah. That was a good movie.
Are you done?
I'm done. Oh, he's about to get mad. I love it.
All right, my number 6 was the movie better than Memento, apparently, Interstellar. So
number 6 for Interstellar. Okay.
This was the first movie from Nolan I was like, in the theater. So, and I saw this in like IMAX, where like everything was loud as fuck. It didn't. People think stuff's bigger and louder that makes it better, and I'm here to tell you, not always. For Dune, it was great. I don't think doing this Interstellar, there wasn't all that much to it. Like, there was like a spaceship, but like beyond that, like half the movie is on Earth anyway. So like the sound stuff didn't really impact me as much because like half the movie I'm watching people on a fucking farm.
Well, do you want to talk about the problem with his movies past The Dark Knight? The IMAX back and forth?
We do need to talk about it because, okay, so, I mean, we started to notice it in The Dark Knight because that's the first movie he started doing his special IMAX camera work. And
I found out The Dark Knight was the first, like, commercially available, like, where they used the IMAX in, like, theaters.
I do remember it being a big thing.
So that was the first one.
I mean, I think The Dark Knight, I'm not bothered by it. I did notice the cuts more this time around, like, from IMAX to normal,
because he did it so much. He cuts back and forth, not even scenes that really deserve it.
Yeah,
it's like really smaller scenes.
Well, see, I think in The Dark Knight he did it really well. He didn't do it too much. Like he did it for like the shot where Batman's like gonna descend on that building to check, like to get the Chinese guy.
Like wide scope, like a big area. Like it really deserves it.
Right, and then there's another one where he like the beginning scene, right? And it's like one long sequence, so you don't really notice the cuts. Like it's the whole opening sequence of the movie, right? And then we get to like Inception and Interstellar and The Dark Knight Rises, where it's just, oh man, it's like almost every outside scene is IMAX, but then every inside scene is not. And then sometimes it's like one establishing shot in IMAX in the same scene. It has the black bars.
Yeah, it is. You see the black bars. If I didn't see the black bars, it wouldn't. I don't think I would notice it as much. Yeah. But I think IMAX is the vertical like resolution is really high. That's why it's like that. He has to do it.
Just put black bars on it. Honestly,
Bro,
I don't
do
care.
it, man.
I'd rather see that because it's just jarring me. Like if the
IMAX looks
really
amazing.
Looks that much better. Then
I think it looks amazing.
Do the black bars on the IMAX, and I'll lose a little bit of screen. Sorry, but what am I gaining from that? What am I getting? Because now all I'm getting is jarred by it. Interstellar, I don't think it was as bad. The IMAX cuts. So that's the movie we're talking about, right?
Yeah, we're talking about Interstellar. I just want to talk about that.
We didn't want to talk about the IMAX
because I think we needed to talk about that because it's like it plagues his movies after The Dark Knight.
It did, yeah. Especially in Tenet, it was really bad too.
Oh yeah.
In Dunkirk, really bad. But yeah, Interstellar though, honestly, I think I didn't really like it much in the theater the first time I saw it. I thought it was like okay. I thought it was pretty good, but I definitely thought it was way weaker than every other movie I'd seen by him at that time. And then rewatching it now, I do like it more. I liked it a lot more actually. And I think it's a really good movie. I think this is the movie of his that has the most heart in character than all the other movies. Like Matthew McConaughey was in his reconnaissance, which I did not make up myself.
I really thought you did. I was like,
I could have.
Then I heard somebody else say it. I was like, yeah, you didn't make that.
No, I didn't make it up. But this was like the height of Matthew McConaughey's like career, I suppose. Like
True Detective.
True Detective. He did what's it called? The Dallas Buyers Club, right? So he's finally getting
movies and shows.
Yeah, getting recognized as a good actor, all at once. And I think his performance is what does it. Like you just feel the human element to him. He's very good at that. And I mean, they spend the whole plot basically revolves around him getting back to his daughter, right? And in a way, it involves space, but it more involves the human. And I think a lot of people critique this movie for trying to be too much concept to outweigh the heart, but I don't think it does.
I think it balances really well.
I did too. So I like this one a lot more the second time around, which is ironic because I didn't watch it in theater. I liked it more watching it here at home, but I just thought it was, maybe it's because I could focus on the movie more and I wasn't like
the whole entire screen,
I wasn't like, oh, I gotta look at everything.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of plot. I don't know if it's I guess it's kind of interesting. And you know what? I did feel a little bit more of the weight of the stakes in this one. I think the problem with Tenet is I don't care about what's going on because I don't know what's going to happen. But in like Interstellar, you can already tell the world is ending because you spend time on Earth where it's basically like the Dust Bowl. Like shit's like it looks like the apocalypse, right?
You see it. You actually see it.
So I care about the stakes because, one, I've spent so much time with Matthew McConaughey and his family on Earth, and I've seen that the world is getting worse. So when the twist comes in Interstellar that they never planned to get people off the Earth,
it hits.
And it's like fucking psych. I'm like, damn, that is fucked up.
Alfred, what are you doing, man?
This is the only one where Michael Caine's actually like
he's the villain, basically.
And I guess they use his like character type to make it kind of a twist, which was interesting. And I mean, you don't see the aliens in this one, but they do imply that there is some kind of other people, or they're from the future or something. When Matthew McConaughey goes through the fucking wormhole and everything gets so fucking deep.
2001 Space Odyssey.
But again, you know what?
We don't understand it as humans, so maybe. I mean, I think they did it well.
No, they do it well, and that's the thing. Like Tenet, they tried too much to explain it. Interstellar just explains to you the pieces you need to understand the story.
That's what you wanted. Like, just let it go.
That is all I need.
You don't need to explain it.
And I don't know if it's just because I've been watching a lot of David Lynch stuff, who he just doesn't explain anything.
I love that.
I'm just at the point where, like, I don't know if I really need all the science broken down or the fantasy broken down or whatever. I just need to know, how does this service the story? And I think Interstellar, honestly, it did it really, really well.
I agree.
It was pretty good.
I agree. Anything else?
No, I think I've talked enough about this one. But
it'll come later in my list.
But it was good. I definitely think I like this one a lot more with the rewatch.
It's better than Memento.
No, it's not better than Memento.
Yeah. Number 5 for me. So these are some of the best movies I've ever seen of all time.
These are pretty good.
Maybe top 10 and top 20.
There's one I thought you would have a lot lower. I'm surprised you haven't put it yet. It's probably gonna be number 5, but go ahead.
Oh, you don't know. I told you. That's why I'm excited for this. I told you I'm excited.
Go ahead.
This is gonna be fun. My next one, number 5. Batman Begins. I actually like this a lot more.
Yeah.
I did not like this the first time. I liked it. Okay,
you were shitting on this movie.
I was shitting on it before.
You were like just trying to piss me off or something because you're like, oh man, we're gonna watch fucking Batman Begins. I'm telling you, like, it's a good movie. Like,
it's a good movie. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
I think because I was soured on it because I seen The Dark Knight in the movie theater. That's the first Nolan movie I ever seen. I was like, whoa, this is fucking great.
The Dark Knight is much better.
Yeah. So this one of the best movies I ever seen. Like,
yeah.
So it had a large looming shadow. Because I didn't see Batman Begins first. Which I should have, because it begins.
Yeah.
But coming back to it, and I didn't, I don't know, I just didn't, I watched it on cable, commercials.
Also bad.
It was not a good idea. But then coming back to this, I really like it a lot. It's a great start to the series. I love, I mean, like, you've seen Batman's story so much, like the origin story. I think this is probably the best I've seen.
The thing that this movie does really well is, like, the origin of his parents getting shot, you've seen on screen a million times. And I mean, you sent me a whole compilation.
Yeah, I was.
But the thing is, they never really show Batman becoming Batman.
Yeah, that's what I liked about it.
They show the gunshot of his parents, right?
And they skip to him being Batman.
Exactly. They show that in the first Batman, the Keaton one. They show it in Val Kilmer's Batman, right? And then they refer to it to every Batman movie that's ever been made. But this one, they actually show, like, how does this guy go from the kid whose parents got shot to being Batman? I think it's. I mean, a lot of the inspiration comes from Batman Year One, the comic. It's like pretty much a straight adaptation, except Catwoman was actually in that comic. But why didn't she
in this one, man? I love Catwoman. Fuck.
I don't know.
Why do you do that?
So it's just interesting, but I think they do this very well. I think it's and you know what? I am fatigued by superhero origin stories, but this was 2005.
I mean, it's only been like 2 since, before that.
Because
Spider-Man and wait, who else?
Superman, the first Superman movie has an origin story. The first Batman movie doesn't really. It shows, like I said, it shows the gunshot, but it doesn't really show him becoming the superhero. You know, I guess you could argue X-Men has Wolverine's origin story and Daredevil by that point, but like this was kind of new. You know, superhero movies were still kind of new, and Batman hadn't had a movie since 1997. So.
No.
So I don't think it was really that big a deal. Like, I don't think it was like, I wasn't fatigued by the origin at that point, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I like so he falls down the well, like, he's a kid and he's like scared of bats and like that carries with him, but that's where he gets the ideas, like, my fear, that's his fear, he's going to turn into a good thing. That's what he's going to be. Yeah. So, and I like that. I like how the look of Gotham, because this is a straight up fucking ghetto. Yeah. I like that, and like they really show like the Gotham is like lost, like it's controlled by the criminals. They really show why they need Batman. Yeah, and I appreciate that. Yeah, and I fucking love when he like so he goes to prison, like in where is it at, Tibet?
Yeah, it was some I don't even know, somewhere.
Yeah, he was just somewhere around. It looked like Tibet, and like he's found by Ra's al Ghul. And he started training him. I love the training sequence because it like has like kind of like a samurai look to it. I didn't know Batman was like that.
Well, I mean, like,
is that like for the movie or is that?
I mean, like they talk about in Year One actually, like he does train with a guy named Dunkirk, which is the name that Liam Neeson's character uses originally. Yeah, before he comes out as Ra's al Ghul or whatever. So he trains with that guy doing a bunch of different martial arts and stuff. He doesn't train with the League of Shadows, who are like, I guess, ninjas, kind of.
I like the ninja samurai thing. Yeah.
So the League of Shadows, that's Ra's al Ghul's like cult of followers or whatever. Like that's where Talia is from in the comics, I'm saying, right?
Is Talia in this?
No, not that we know of.
Okay. You know, why didn't we do that? But something
should have. I guess they didn't want to do too much. They wanted to focus on Batman, but he wasn't at the point of trying to do too much.
But she's like the main villain in the last movie. That's what I'm saying. That's why it's important.
Yeah, you don't feel the impact as much. This one, I think, is a lot. But this is a very focused movie. I think.
Yeah, I like the focus.
Yeah, it's very on Batman, and despite the fact that it has 2 villains, which people are like, "Oh, you can't have more than one villain," but I think
you can balance it.
I think this works really well. For
Cillian Murphy as Scarecrow. I think the mask is frightening. He uses the gas. I think it's done really well in this movie too. Yeah, and they're trying to put it into the the water. The chemical, and like at the end, like everybody's like kind of hallucinating. Yeah, the climax, it's all right. I think they could have done it better.
It is a little weak.
It doesn't feel as grand. I don't know. It feels kind of like not low stakes, but it just doesn't feel right to me.
Yeah, no, it doesn't feel as impactful as like The Dark Knight or other.
Yeah, I thought like it was a good setup. Like, they're gonna be hallucinating. It'd be chaos. The chaos is not really shown that well to me. No. And like the CG is pretty bad.
This was like before like CG got really good.
I guess because they're trying to do more of the comic book look to it. I don't know, like more like fantastical. Because like in the Dark Knight and the Dark Knight Rises, it's more like realistic to me. Yeah.
Well, it's because I think you see more of the building shots. You know, I think what they wanted to do is they wanted to make Gotham look really disgusting. Yeah, so they do that. They had to CGI parts of it that were basically like a ghetto, I suppose, because not a lot of the major cities had. I feel like they could have. Just
come to Detroit. Just come to Detroit.
Yeah. Like, this was before the film credit in Michigan. So,
it was. Yeah,
you know, but like I went to like Philadelphia for like a thing, and like man, parts of Philadelphia.
Oh yeah, every major city has that.
Yeah, man. Exactly. So I don't know. They shot this in Chicago. I feel like Chicago has places like this too.
Oh, 100%. It's like one of the worst.
We watched Shameless.
Yeah, come on. You know. Yeah, so like when they doing like establishing shots, like the wide shots, it doesn't look that good. But when they get into it, I like that.
Yeah.
And Liam Neeson, he's good as he's not. I like more like the Jokers, Riddlers, Penguins, more like animated ones. But he's good in this.
Yeah, he's threatening.
He's threatening. Yeah.
I like that they brought him to the screen because I think he's one of Batman's coolest villains. I don't know if it's done as well as I would have liked because
I think I like it more. Maybe he's in the video game, right?
Yeah, he is.
I think I like it better in the video game.
I like his like approach because he doesn't even want to kill Batman. He wants Batman to become a killer. Like that's like his thing. He wants Batman to take his place and do what he did.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like a really interesting hero villain dynamic.
Yeah.
Which they do touch on in this one, but I don't think it's not done to a full extent because the villain always dies, which is something I hate in movies. I was glad they didn't kill Joker in The Dark Knight because I like when the villain.
They were gonna. I think The Dark Knight Rises could have been way better if they had the Joker.
I think Nolan was planning.
That really messed it up. I think it didn't have much chance to Rises because I think he had it planned where he came back because he doesn't die. It seems like there would be more to it. He kind of just hanging at the end. Yeah. His last scene with Joker in The Dark Knight. But yeah, I like this movie a lot. That begins. I like it way more. I think this is like the biggest turnaround in terms of
like movies you saw originally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The biggest turnaround for me.
Yeah.
I really like it.
I told you, man. I told you it's a good movie. You didn't want to believe me. You didn't want to believe me.
I didn't want to. Okay, yeah. So I'm interested to see where it lands on your list because that was number 5 for me. That was
number 5.
Batman Begins.
That's my number 5 too, actually.
Oh, okay.
Because Interstellar was number 6. So yeah, I'm not gonna say much more about it. I haven't already said, but I think it's a great start. I think this is a really good origin story, and we never really got the whole Batman from child to adult becoming Batman. So I think it's done very well. It explains a lot. I think Nolan's grounded approach too helps because why would a guy dress up as like a fucking bat in like a realistic world, right? It doesn't make sense. So he does it in a way I think does make a lot of sense. It's like because Batman in this version is not like the Tim Burton one. You don't live in a Tim Burton world where everything is really goth and everyone's goth. Yeah, it doesn't just make sense, right?
It doesn't. But I like that aesthetic. But
I love that aesthetic.
Yeah, it works, and it works for Batman. It really does. Like if anything, it works for that. So.
Exactly. So I do miss the comic book fantasticalness of like Batman that we do lose in this trilogy, and we are going to lose it again with the Batman,
sadly.
But I have to say, if any character is really good at being all that stuff, he's good at being the goth, he's good at being the Adam West, he's good at being the gritty, hard, noir type character, then I mean this is fine because this fits for me for Batman. So I think this is a very good start, and I mean it sets off one of the best movies ever made. So
I agree.
Yeah.
No, I do.
All right, so that was my number 5. What's your number 4?
Oh man,
I'm surprised because if we have the same number 4,
we won't have the same. I'm telling you, it's gonna be different.
I think we might have the same number 4.
Number 4 for me is Inception.
No way.
Yes way. Yes.
No way.
Yep.
Wow, are you just trying to like fuck me right now? Like,
what are you talking about? Inception is one of the best movies of all time.
I know, but there's one on this list that I didn't think you liked. All right.
We'll talk about that movie. But I love Inception. I've loved it the first time I seen it. I still love it. But okay, all right. Well, this movie's great. Okay.
Yeah. No. Tell me what
the concept.
Look, it's fine. It's fine. Okay. It's okay to be wrong.
It's okay to what? Hold on a second.
We're supposed to have the same list.
We're supposed to have the exact same list, huh? We're gonna talk about it.
Tell me why it's number 4. Tell me why it's not number 2, or it should be.
Number 2.
I mean,
why are you telling me your list? Number 2, because you know how you saying like other movies have heart, and the characters are memorable.
Yeah.
And also with Memento, once you see the movie, I don't know, it doesn't work as much.
You think this? I think it still has a lot of rewatchability though. Inception, honestly, I do.
I don't know. It just doesn't work with me as much. I don't care about it really.
I guess the first time is always going to hit you the hardest because it's so like you're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, the concept is awesome. Going into the dreams, stealing people's ideas and implanting. That is great.
And
concept.
Dreams within dreams. That's crazy.
And they do it really well.
Yeah.
But the characters, I don't care about anybody in this movie. I'm sorry. Do you?
I like Leo's character and his story. I think that's I think like his is the only one that like is really important. And
it's important, but I just don't care. I'm sorry.
I mean, you don't care about anything or anyone. So.
I do care when they do it right. I care. It's just this.
You really don't.
I think it just takes. I like that he was willing to do.
Where'd it go wrong with you?
I like the. Okay, so what I like about Leo's character, he's trying to do anything it takes to get back to his kids, right?
Yeah.
And I like that he's willing to risk everybody else in his group lives to get to it.
Yeah, he's kind of an asshole.
Yeah. So, but I don't know, when they go into their relationship, I don't know, it just doesn't work for me. I don't know. It doesn't work for me. I can't really. It just doesn't do it for me.
Man,
it just takes away from the
I don't
story.
know if it's just because I think she's so hot.
That's probably the reason.
I feel like I would do anything for her.
Why does it work for you? So
I think it works for me because I think
the romance and like the story behind that. Why?
Just because she's so fucking psycho. She's got that
she's
like
so psycho,
that hot crazy that you kind of want to. You kind of want to do anything for her.
I think I don't. I guess that's just how I am.
No,
once you show any signs of psycho,
sucked in by a femme fatale, man.
But like realistically, he puts everybody on the line for that. I don't know. It just doesn't work for me.
Well, I guess actually, like, she's not really that way at the beginning. She's not that way until he puts the idea in her mind that nothing is real. So it's really his fault. I like that. I like this whole movie.
This movie's great.
I'm responsible for that. Like, I don't know. And I like the way it unfolds. I mean, you could say, the rewatchability, maybe you don't have it as much. But honestly, I don't even I know it happens. I just like watching it happen because it's done so well.
It does.
See, that's the thing about like Memento and Inception for me, and this is why you're fucking wrong. No, I'm just kidding. But the reason I think I can rewatch it is it's less about the what and more about the how. See, I think the problem with like Tenet is that the how is done so poorly that I don't even, if I knew the what, I'm not getting surprised again. Even if I'm not getting surprised again, at least I'm like watching it unfold in a cool way. Because I don't remember every little detail of a 2.5 hour movie, right?
Yeah.
So it's like watching like Inception again. I do feel this way about like Memento too. Just narratively, I can rewatch it just in like a film school sense. Like this is just cool to watch. It's cool to watch the process again, I guess.
I guess the emotional impact of stuff means more to me than the technical aspects of the plot and like how like intricate and how well it's executed. I guess I could have a messier plot as long as I love the characters.
Yeah, no,
that's just for me. But man, when they're talking about like they're explaining it and like they're like in the dream and explaining it to what's her name? I forgot. Like
Ariadne.
Is that her name?
The
architect who makes the dream world.
Yeah.
I love that so much. Like it's so interesting.
Yeah.
And I like how they start off showing you how they do it in the beginning of the movie. They're already in it, in the dream.
See, that's the show don't tell.
Show don't tell.
Show don't tell.
Once again, this is one of the best movies, one of my favorite movies. Okay,
yeah.
So don't think this is a bad movie, or I think.
Well, you're saying that some movies are better than this one, which I just am surprised by. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'm just saying, like the character element is just not there. Like I wish they did that more. Like just Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He's just there. I mean, he kind of flirts with the girl.
Yeah, I think every other character besides, I guess, Ariadne has a character. I think everybody else besides her and Dom or Christopher Nolan insert. Mm-hmm. Everyone else doesn't really have a character.
Yeah,
like Tom Hardy. And like I don't know. I guess it'd
probably be number 1 or number 2 if the first time I seen it because I'm blown away by it. But now I'm just not impressed as much. I've seen it so many times. It's like, okay, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Oh yeah, that work goes back to that. Yeah. I don't know. It just look, we're different people, man.
It's okay.
We're different people.
Hey man, it's perfectly fine.
Nothing has to make sense at all. As long as I like what's
the only one who's right, so it's fine.
This is why you're a Christopher Nolan guy. I'm the Quentin Tarantino guy. Okay. I like style over substance a lot of times.
Oh, that's a problem. That's a problem.
That's a problem. No, it's
it
not.
should be balanced.
It's no. I'm
but
saying
you're talking about not having enough heart, right? So like you do like the substance too. You should have the emotional impact, right?
Oh yeah.
So it's not just about style, because if it was about style,
no, I'm not. Okay, all right, style. Okay, so
you need.
I guess it doesn't
too.
explain it too well. Okay, well,
look, it's fine. You don't have to justify your incorrect decision. You don't have to. I don't care.
Sure?
Look, you don't have to justify to me how fucking wrong you are. I don't really even care that you're a fucking disease, okay? I don't care.
All right.
It's fine. Do you have anything else to say about your number 4 pick?
Number 4, yep.
Anything else to say?
And also, this is minuscule amounts of, like, differences.
Yeah, these are all really good movies.
So, it's not like, oh, I fucking hate Inception compared to the other movies.
What you're saying.
See, but this is a great movie. It just doesn't have the impact that it did the first few viewings. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But it's a great I love it.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
Oh, you gotta plug in that boy.
But Inception is number 4?
We're gonna take a brief intermission to talk about our sponsor today.
Sponsor today is
Tenet.
Tenet.
Do we know what it is?
No.
Does anybody? Also no.
No. But you should still buy it because it's great. That's what they told me to say.
My number 4.
Number 4.
The Prestige.
Okay.
So I love this movie. And I was telling him it's a really good movie. You've never seen it before, right?
It's first time seeing it.
Yeah, the first time like we watched all of his movies like recently, right? So this is maybe like the second or third time seeing it. I still fucking love this movie, man. Like I love period pieces. And this one, I don't know, it's what like turn of the century, like late 1800s maybe. I can't remember exactly, but it's so cool.
I'm glad it's not taken in contemporary times. I love that he did that. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's all in the past. I think just like the aesthetic, it looks really good. It looks like something like Sherlock Holmes type. Like it looks like you're in that era. I love the premise. I would never think to watch something about magicians.
I love magicians, so.
Because, like, I always think of them as kind of, like, cartoony, like, I don't take them seriously. In this movie, I really am like, damn, like...
They take it serious.
These guys are fucking serious about their craft to the point of, like, obsession, you know? And, like, I think it's done very, very well.
I love those themes. That's why I like this movie. I mean, you have to see it.
And I think the characters, I think it works because they're both just really ambitious, right? So that's like their drive. It's like you have these two ambitious people that will stop at nothing to outdo the other.
They're willing to lose
themselves.
themselves.
Their whole life, and it stops their relationships. It ruins everything. And I think that it's so beautifully done.
It's the gift and the curse.
Yeah. But this one, man, I mean, the twist at the end, I was so glad you didn't see it coming because I was worried you were gonna predict it.
No, I didn't. I think it was just so much going on. I was thinking about so much. I didn't see it
because like rewatching it
because I didn't think it would be like possible. I don't know. It's just
like rewatching it. I was like, man, I can just tell it's like Christian Bale. Like we gave the spoiler alert warning a long time ago, but essentially like. It's revealed that Christian Bale has been a double this whole time. He's had twins. He's had a twin brother. And they would switch on and off. That's fucking wild.
It's wild. And I love how not Gene Hackman. What's his name again?
Hugh Jackman.
It's like Hugh Hackman. He's willing to do anything to up one Christian Bale's character.
To the point of like it gets wild because he goes to Nikolai Tesla.
Yeah, he's going to
by
science.
David Bowie.
Yeah.
And he like clones himself basically.
Yeah, he kills himself.
And kills himself.
That is wild. I was like, what? This is fucked up. I love it.
Yeah.
He's willing to do anything. And at the end, he still loses.
Yeah, it was crazy. So, I mean, rewatching this movie, there's so much to it that I feel like even if like I've seen it and I know the twist, just watching him plant the seed. Again, like this is another movie where, I mean, you probably won't like it as much on the rewatch.
No, I think I'll still like it.
You might.
'Cause I like the characters,
but
man.
you will like it less. But I do think, well, it's because of the twist. I'm serious. I think you will like it less because the
you
twist
think so?
is...
Okay.
Yeah, I think you won't like it as much.
I think the twist is not like the best part of the movie to me.
No, it's not. But it is one of the better parts. It's one of the most interesting parts, and it's something that like it kind of the whole movie is like misdirecting you. So, but I think
that is true.
Watching again, like what I was talking about with Inception and Memento, like watching this movie back, because I've seen it like 2 or 3 times now, like the process of how he reveals stuff. I love it in this movie. This one I think this is one of his most underrated movies. No one ever talks about it. No one ever has seen it, and it has 2 huge actors in it, you know, and
yeah, it's strange. It's strange.
I think it's because it came out between the Batman movies, so it kind of fell under the radar.
Yeah,
you know,
I think it came out after The Dark Knight. I think it had more.
Maybe.
You know, people like it more.
Yeah, after like The Dark Knight Rises.
Or talk about it more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's definitely one of his most underrated movies, and I love it. I love the performances. I mean, Christian Bale is never bad. I've never really seen Hugh Jackman be bad, and
they're all great.
They're all great in this movie. So
very memorable performances from everybody.
I think it's a good balance of character, of mood, and
I love the look of this movie.
Yeah,
so much.
it looks so good. So I wish more people would see The Prestige. If you haven't seen The Prestige, I mean, watch it like right now.
Oh yeah,
it's very good.
Great movie.
Very good. All right, so that's my number 4.
And my number 3 is The Prestige. I like it more than you.
I guess so.
I love this movie.
I was surprised.
This is the best magician movie. I love magicians. This is the best one I've ever seen. They did it right. Finally, this is the best movie.
Yeah.
And the concept of it, I love it. 2 people that actually absolutely love their craft going head to head throughout the whole entire movie, and I'm engaged the whole time. And they absolutely lose themselves. They do whatever it takes. I love that. Like you said, like we were saying, like their ambition is like the probably like the end of them.
Yeah, it's their downfall.
For one of them,
it really is.
And even for Christian Bale's character, he's willing to live that character throughout everything.
To his own death.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he loses the romance in this works because she's talking about. It's like sometimes you love me, sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
It makes sense now. Like at the end, it's like, oh, that's what it means.
Yeah.
And like, it works for me. Like throughout the whole entire movie, the performances, the look, and like how he goes into do fucking science. He has to fucking clone himself to beat him. I love that, and he still loses at the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, there's not much I don't like about this movie. So
I think it's done so very well.
Yeah.
You know, and I like how it keeps one-upping itself. You know, as it goes, it's like we gotta find ways to make this, you know, more interesting. And then they keep they go from like varying levels of success. Like, you know, Christian Bale's down one time, and then, you know, Hugh Jackman's up, and they keep like outdoing each other the whole movie, I think. And
I just like rivalries in movies like that.
Yeah.
I just like that.
It's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was engaged, and I actually care like what's going on with the characters, you know. So I like it. I love it a lot. It might even move up if I watch it again and it still has the same impact. But this list can change for me. So
yeah,
like the top 5.
Nothing's set in stone.
No, nothing's. I mean,
it
seems pretty set in stone for you.
I would hope not, because you have some clear wrong decisions. But,
I know you're slowly getting scared, huh? It's slowly getting scared.
Well, I already know you got some incorrect decisions because there's already some movies you haven't put lower on the list. And movies you did put lower on the list.
And your list is wrong too. You messing up with this one movie.
Are you done? Do you have anything else to say about Prestige?
It's great.
This movie that you loved. Apparently?
I love this movie. There's not much I can say bad.
I'm surprised.
You criticize anything about it?
I mean, for the most part, no. I think as a movie, I think it's the only thing I could think to criticize, and you might not notice yet because you've only seen it once, is the rewatchability might go down because the twist is, I think it's pretty integral, and it's like done throughout the whole movie.
It is weird throughout the whole entire
and so
movie.
but you know, again, I think that
this twist works compared to The Dark Knight Rises. So
it's a way better twist, but the thing is, like, I do think that you will be able to get like I said, to watch the process of it. Like, that's the thing too. If I like see a big twist in a movie and I'm like, whoa, I didn't see that coming. When I rewatch the movie, I go and look for all the clues that they put in to like make that twist so interesting and memorable. So I think this is one of those movies that's what I experienced rewatching this. Was like, man, like I see like why this was done so well. Like,
I do like the performances a lot. I think the performances are great.
Christian Bale,
just watching them compared to like Inception, I think it's more entertaining to me.
Yeah, it is less characters too.
Yeah,
less to balance out.
I guess I just like the more focused character development and seeing them. So yeah, there you go.
Number 3.
I can't wait to...
The true
let's
number
talk about it.
3.
Okay, the true number 3.
Memento.
Oh, man.
Memento is such a good fucking movie.
It is, man.
It's such a good movie.
It's great.
And again, I've already talked about it, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. But the process, the film process, the film techniques in this movie, the way that it messes with time, that is so interesting to me.
It is.
It's done so well. So I don't care if I already know the twist, because it's done so intricately that even when I watch it, over and over again, I get kind of a new experience every time, because I'm looking at more clues and I'm looking at all this stuff, and I think because it's done so jarringly that oftentimes I forget stuff in the execution. Like, I might remember the end game, right? I remember the ending. I'm never going to forget that ending. But the how it got there and everything that led up to it, that's what I forget. And I can just appreciate the process. I love the way it looks. I love the way the performances, like Carrie-Anne Moss, it's kind of like this. I like that you can't trust yourself this whole movie. Like, you watch it and you're like, I know she's going to be bad or good depending on whatever she wants, right? So I like that. I love unreliability, and this is done so well. I don't have much else to say besides that because we've already kind of talked about it. But you're wrong.
It's a great movie.
It's his third
Just
best
the
movie.
other movies are better.
Well, we all know what the true ranking is.
It's bare bones, man.
From true fans of Christopher Nolan, these are all your DVDs. Besides Tenet, which is the worst movie I've ever seen.
You own the worst movie. You got Batman Begins.
I have Batman Begins, which you didn't even like.
I like it now.
All right, what's your number 2?
I'm so excited. What do you think is number 2?
Well,
there's 2 movies
got
left.
in this far.
Uh-huh.
If you're number 2, I know your number 1's got. There's no way you think this other one is better than that one. And if
number 2,
Interstellar. You did not.
The Dark Knight is number 2.
All right, I'm walking out of here. You're just trying to piss me off. You're just trying.
No, I'm not.
Explain yourself.
What? Explain what?
Explain.
The Dark Knight is one of the greatest movies of all time. Okay. It's number 2. What's wrong with
one
that?
You haven't mentioned you think's number 1?
I just like a certain movie. Maybe I think it's
You're
better.
So obsessed with character that you will literally make a movie number 2.
Is this movie as good? Okay, let's talk about how great this movie is.
It's
one of the best movies of all time.
It's my number 2 favorite movie
of all time.
Of all time.
And number 1.
I've watched this movie 12 fucking times. 12 plus. I probably watched this movie 20 plus times.
Your favorite movie is In Bruges, right?
That's my favorite movie is In Bruges.
Okay, but this is your favorite.
This was my favorite for a while.
Okay.
This is definitely my second favorite. I watched this movie front to back, and I never get tired of it. It is so fucking good.
It's one of my favorites of all time too. Top 10. It's
so
not
good.
My favorite though.
I think it's the best superhero movie probably ever made.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I can't think of So just because it's number 2 doesn't mean. And also, it can always change when I watch something else again. It can always
change. You're trying to soften the blow of being wrong. It's fine. Look, I don't care.
Okay, so this is probably this is probably the let's talk about this movie. Okay, this is probably the best performance I've ever seen in a movie.
From Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
I mean,
Joker. I mean, he makes the movie. He is the Dark Knight.
It's movie. I don't even know how you follow up the Joker.
You can't. You can't.
I felt bad Thanos for Jared Leto. But... Jared Leto, I felt so bad for him because there was no way he was ever gonna be as good as Heath Ledger.
Maybe it's just it's too good because maybe it helped contribute to him losing his life. I don't know if it's associated with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell. It was ruled an accidental overdose or whatever, but it's
he lost himself. He is the Joker. I didn't see Heath Ledger. I seen the Joker only.
Because I mean, you've seen other Heath Ledger movies, right?
Yeah,
it's nothing like this.
I can't believe it. I'm still surprised by it.
He's not a bad actor.
I'm not saying he's a terrible actor.
But
it's like the Matthew McConaughey change.
Yeah,
almost but this is even more. He is the mannerisms, the way he is the Joker.
Yeah.
I remember how he moves.
Yeah.
He turned into another person. He turned into it.
It's scary.
It's not just he's acting. He is him.
Yeah.
So that's why it's
method acting.
If anybody deserved an Oscar or every award, he deserved it.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say that.
No, it honestly, I probably agree. I don't know if I could think of a performance in a movie anytime that sticks out more than this one. Like, it's iconic. Like, it's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I mean, the action is great. Trying to think. I'm trying to get past the Joker thing, but he's just like so integral to the movie. Yeah. I just like how you can have one day and you could just change the whole entire world. You can change their principles, because in this movie, Harvey Dent is Two-Face. He's like the golden boy of Gotham.
Yeah.
But he just completely makes a turnaround, and like I can believe it, because the Joker, he inserts so much chaos into the movie, and I love chaos. That's why I love it so much.
Yeah, it is. It's very. You know what?
Represents it.
You feel scared. I feel like in this movie.
Oh
like,
yeah.
I've seen it
every
so
time
many
he's
times.
on the movie. Like, you know, when he's doing he has that guy that's dressed as Batman.
Yeah, like the videotape.
He's like look at me, like whoa.
Like
every time I see
film.
that, but sometimes he's like kind of comedic.
Yeah,
like he does it so well,
bro. And that's okay. So one of my biggest problems with Joker 2019 is that he's not fucking funny at all. And it's not like humor is subjective. Okay, it is. But I don't think most people think he's funny in that movie.
No, he's just awkward and just sad.
And I don't think he was trying to be. But anyway, aside from that, this is why I think Heath Ledger's Joker is so fucking good. It's a new version of the character, but it doesn't feel like a fucking betrayal. No. I still see elements of Jack Nicholson. I see elements of Mark Hamill. Right? He feels like Joker. He's just a new version of him.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
I know, I agree.
It's really hard to critique it.
There's nothing wrong with this performance at all. Yeah. It's so one of the best of all time. I'll try to think of somebody else better. But yeah, he is the Joker. That's what you want to do as an actor.
Yeah.
But let's talk about like all the cool side characters. Like the best Alfred of all time. I want to save it till the end.
Yeah.
Michael Caine. Yeah, he's the best character throughout the series to me, like my favorite side character.
He has so much heart.
He is the heart of the series, and like their relationship between him and Bruce Wayne is great.
Yeah, it's so beautiful.
And I want to talk about like the heartbreak of like him like kind of being too hurt in The Dark Knight Rises, where he like kind of break up.
Yeah.
I want to talk. That was a great scene. That was a great scene. But
he's
in this. He's he brings Alfred. He lives that character, and I love that so much.
He does. What about like Morgan Freeman?
Oh yeah, I like
Lucius.
He kind of like you show him all the gadgets. Kind of he's funny too. So
yeah,
I like him too as well.
See, I think this one like I mean, you could disagree, but I think like the characters like there's a lot of characters in The Dark Knight, but they're just balanced fucking perfectly. I think like everybody's so perfectly balanced. Like Harvey and Batman. I mean, you could argue that like you would want the Batman movie to be all about Batman, but honestly,
I don't care about that.
I think it doesn't matter because this story is so fucking balanced. You have the dynamic of like the side of order of like Batman and Harvey, but they're a different approach, and then you have the chaos, which is the Joker, and all that just like counteracts with each other. And I mean, the ending, it's just done so fucking well. I honestly like this is one of the best stories I've ever seen. You know, I mean, do you disagree?
Okay, so the one thing I don't really like about this movie is the romance.
It's a little weak.
And you know how like Kaeda Holmes is in the first movie, and then they changed over to Maggie Gyllenhaal.
I hate recasting.
Yeah, and she's not, and you know why? When he's like running after her, trying to save, I guess he's trying to save Maggie, right?
Yeah. The Joker gives him the two addresses of like where they're both strapped to bombs, and he gives him the different address because he knows that he's gonna go after Rachel. That's fucked up, dude.
It is. Oh yeah,
it's so
super fucked up.
It's
something fucked up.
Oh,
the impact of that is not there for me as much. I know it's supposed to be the most impactful moment in Batman's life. It's just not for me.
I mean, it's okay to be wrong.
You think that's impactful to you? I guess because to him, it's just not shown. Like their chemistry is not.
No, their chemistry is not there. I don't like Maggie Gyllenhaal as an actor, so I think that's kind of where it starts. It's like I don't believe like she just feels like weird, out of place in that movie.
That's why it's like if that was better, I think that would be another one.
But it doesn't even matter to me because like the shots just do it for me. I can feel how sad Batman is. Like when he's like sitting there with this mask all emo, like that's how I feel.
That's great.
Sad, you know?
See, look, yeah, it's great. But they didn't display it like how they displayed
you're right.
it.
The romance is not done very well.
Because that's important. That's the most important scene.
Yeah.
It changes the whole entire.
What about
plot.
the romance between Harvey and Rachel though? Like, do you feel like it's better between them or
Not really.
no?
I think Maggie, she kind of messes up the movie a little bit because she's
the worst part of the
she's
movie.
not that good of an actor. I don't know. They just
Yeah.
it's just not displayed well.
She's always been my least
unfortunately
favorite part of that movie is her performance.
Yeah,
honestly.
so it's just that's the only really thing, I guess. I'm trying to think of something else. I'm not saying this movie's like I'm still a masterpiece.
It's a god tier movie.
Yeah, so I'm not saying this is a bad movie at all. Like it's not really anything wrong with it. I'm just trying to explain why my number one's number one.
No, I can't wait. You're gonna have to justify that shit because there's plenty wrong with that one.
Not really.
There is.
For me, no. It's exactly what I wanted to do. And
there is, man. You're just so sci-fi.
we'll talk. What are you talking? Don't spoil it.
What else could it be?
You didn't know about Runaway, the movie Runaway that he made.
Oppenheimer.
Yeah,
Oppenheimer.
That's gonna be number one. But yeah, everything else is flawless with the scene. I don't know if you want to talk about it when you talk about it.
We'll get to it soon.
You want to do number two now?
My number two is Inception.
Inception? Oh, yeah, I forgot.
And you know what?
I forgot about that movie.
So here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
For a long time, I'd always said that like The Dark Knight was my favorite movie. So thereby, I should say that it's Nolan's best movie, right? But I always kind of thought later on that maybe Inception is his most true vision. And like, while I love The Dark Knight,
it is his own vision, yeah, because he created the concept. Yeah.
Right. So while I love The Dark Knight, I didn't think it was his best movie, and I love the way Inception's executed. So, but I changed my thinking a little bit recently and kind of went back
to The Dark Knight.
So anyway, my number two, I guess I spoiled my number one by spoiling my number two. But my number two is Inception. So I do think this one is such a good movie. And I can rewatch this for just even if I know what's going on, if I know what's going to happen, I still feel the impact of it because this movie, the way that they like mess with time and space is so fucking interesting. I love the concept. And I just love the way that everything unfolds. And I mean, this is like a 2.5 hour movie, but it doesn't drag. Feel it, yeah. It does not drag at all. I never get bored.
The scene where he's like fighting like with the environments doing
the hallway.
Yeah,
man, I fucking love that scene so much.
They explain how because they're sleeping and kind of the plane's kind of like moving around, right?
Yeah.
Oh no, the cars,
the van in the dream above them is spinning.
That's so cool. Yeah,
that is so fucking cool. I love that. I love the way. My biggest critique of this movie, rewatching it this time, and it's something I never really cared about before until I started watching a lot more movies this past year with directors who have a very distinct visual style. Here's the thing that really gets me about Nolan. He makes a movie about dreams, and he talks even in the movie about how they dream up.
I wanted to wait to talk about this guy.
How they dream up impossible things.
Yeah.
And I guess when he dreams impossible things, it's like downtown Chicago.
I want to wait. So this is another reason why it's lower on my list. I wish it was more stylized, fantastical, something. Give me something that's interesting. And there's another movie that's like that, Paprika.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm not saying the Paprika is better than this movie. This movie is better executed, but the visuals in this is crazy. Like it's fantastical. Something you see in your dreams.
Yeah, like my dreams are fucking insane. Yeah. I dream of stuff that like couldn't exist, like that really couldn't exist, and he says that like Dom Cobb's character says that in the movie. And he's literally looking at buildings that are, like, just buildings. The only things that are kind of cool are, like, the staircases. It's, like, the rotating staircase. Like, I like stuff like that. And the buildings collapsing in on each other. That's all really cool and, like, Doctor Strangey, I guess. But I really wanted to see, like, more, like, stuff that just felt impossible. You know? Because that's your opportunity to do it. I want to see stuff that seems really weird and out of place, you know? Like a building seriously standing in a bunch of, like an island. Like, I don't know.
Something.
Whatever.
Something. That's what I wanted from this movie.
Like, okay, you know the movie The House that we watched? You know there's like the house that's like in the middle of the water? See, that seems to me like something I would dream up. Something weird like that. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense in the real world. Yeah.
Yes, this is what I wanted more of.
I think everything could have happened in the real world. Like the locations.
Most of it.
It's very familiar.
Except like the buildings folding and stuff.
See, I love that part.
Yeah, I do too. So I wish they had explored more of that instead of just being like in a hotel, or if it's gonna be a hotel, I want something kind of weird,
like maybe like animals or the people. I don't know.
Yeah,
something.
Do you remember like The Sopranos, where he has this one dream? I can't remember what it is, but there's like an actor in it, and he like looks at the actor and talks to the actor, acknowledges that it's the actor. I can't remember who it was. But
I forget.
Those are my dreams. I had dreams about like I had a dream about Hugh Jackman last night. You know what I mean? Like this is what I do. I had a dream where I was sitting on a bus next to Halle Berry. Like this is my fucking. These are my dreams.
I think he just wants. I think he'll probably think that was a distraction.
I mean, it would be, but that would be more realistic to me of how to dream is, because they're not realistic. They're fucking insane.
Maybe he just dreams of downtown Chicago.
I think it's a Nolan. It's a Nolan problem. It's something I've realized about this whole like rewatch is that he really likes everything to look super realistic.
Yeah.
And I mean, it works for some things. Like
that's
Batman
not
Begins.
me though. That's why that's not really me. I like crazy kooky shit.
Well, yeah, okay, like even though in Batman Begins, like, okay, remember when Scarecrow's like gas is affecting people, like, and Scarecrow looks at Batman, he sees like this fucking CGI monster.
Yeah, it's great.
Why aren't you doing that shit? Why?
It's not realistic, man.
It shouldn't be.
If it's not real, you can't do it, man.
So that's like my biggest critique of Inception. Beyond that, I think it's honestly like a near perfect movie. I don't know if I have anything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I could like point out a flaw about it. I think it does exactly the job that it tries to do. You know, I don't think, it doesn't want to be.
It's not always entertaining, but okay.
Anyway, that's my number 2. What's your number? What's your number 2 or your number 1? Your number 1. Sorry. Let's see what the number 1 Christopher Nolan movie is.
The best movie that he's ever made.
Even have the audacity to say this.
The best movie he has ever made. Of all time, better than The Dark Knight, better than Inception.
God, I fucking hate this already.
In every single way. Interstellar.
No.
Stellar.
Oh my god.
My movie. You know I like space. You know I like sci-fi.
I like space too.
I love space. I love space travel. I want to go in Jeff Bezos' dick ship
Dick rocket
and go into outer space, and he does it. And you were saying this is one of the few movies where he actually has a heart.
I think this one did balance the heart, the character with the concept very well. Because you know what?
And I actually cared about these characters.
Yeah, the character drives this movie.
Matthew McConaughey, he's great in this.
He is.
He's only overshadowed by the Joker, one of the greatest performances. He did so great.
Okay.
Who?
Wait.
Matthew McConaughey, this is the best performance. Everybody else, it's not even close.
No, he's not better. He's better than True Detective.
Oh, no, I'm talking about compared to everybody else.
A Nolan movie?
Yeah. Come on, Leo, boring, and Tenet,
Batman,
boring.
Though? Christian Bale?
Oh, I see.
Or, like, Christian Bale even...
He's good, but he's overshadowed by everybody else.
Like...
I don't know, Christian Bale, he's alright.
Just get on with it.
He's just alright. He's just not that
I'm just trying not to die inside,
I don't know.
You know, but...
Christian Bale, he's
Matthew
good.
McConaughey.
I think Christian Bale is better in The Prestige than Batman.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, no, yeah.
Okay. So
but I think Matthew McConaughey, he sells me. He sells me. First of all, I love... Huh?
No, go on.
First of all, okay, look. I like the concept that they show how the world's going to end, and it feels scary.
That was necessary.
Like, they didn't show it in Tenet. I don't know why. But the fucking sand or whatever, the dust... It's scary to me. I feel like that could happen. I could feel like, sand coming down to my fucking room. I feel it. And they showcase it really well. It's kind of like a documentary. They show like, oh, I remember this was happening. It felt real.
Yeah.
So they show the concept of like why we need to go into fucking space and get the fuck out of here.
Another thing too, I mean, this is a little bit of tell, but like the scene where he said like he's meeting with like the parent teacher conference or whatever.
Oh, I love and
he's talking about how like they can only do certain things because they have a very limited population now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they also not only do that, but then they show you like a Yankees game. The Yankees are playing like a cornfield and there's like 4 of them and they're horrible.
It's terrible. Yeah, it's a terrible situation.
I love that because that's like stuff I wouldn't even think about, but like the population's down, so like there's less people that are good at baseball. There's less people that can do certain things. Like I really think that like you do feel the impact, and I do see why they spend so much time on Earth before. I think it works really well.
They don't go straight to space, and I love that. They show why they need to get off this planet.
Yeah.
They show the need for it. And I know I say all the time, I hate family in movies. But I love it when they do it right, and they did it right for me, man. They made me care about his family, especially his daughter. Their relationship is built very well, and it's integral to the plot and what's going on.
And that was my favorite part of it.
You see, yeah, I love that they show like they're very alike, and I like how Matthew McConaughey, he wants to be. He's like one of the best, I guess. He's an astronaut, like he's
he's like an engineer.
Yeah, he's great at that.
Yeah.
But the world needs farmers. And that will fucking kill me if I couldn't do what I would love to do. So that's a conflict between
Imagine that.
Imagine if you can go to fucking outer space. So
imagine if I was like an artist.
You couldn't do what
I worked a day job. Can you imagine that?
Yeah. Imagine that. Anyways, fuck your dreams, man. We're talking about Interstellar. Now, he has to choose between living his dream and possibly saving the world, or staying with his family's daughter. Now that got me. I was like, it's real. It's earned his conflict.
Yeah, it is
of that.
Yeah.
So I love that, and it's acted very well. Like the child actor, she does great.
Yeah, she does a good job.
She does great.
Yeah.
And oh man, I love space. I don't know. I like that. The 2001 Space Odyssey, the process of going into space. This is just a personal thing for me.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I like space travel too.
And I like the AI, the robot. It's like a weird, creepy design.
It's like four little columns that like.
And he does. I don't know. He wrote this. I think he wrote this. It's actually like the dialogue is
pretty good. Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. Like. He doesn't really do this. It just felt like a movie where like some humanity to it.
It is a lot more. It is probably his most human movie. Rewatching all these, like this one feels like his most human.
That's why I like it so much. Yeah. That's why I want more like this. I think he could be like my favorite director if he does movies like this with more attention to the humanity of the characters. Like why we're doing this.
I think Oppenheimer might head that direction. Just saying.
Hopefully,
but yeah, no, you're right.
Hopefully,
it is most human.
So and I like all the other. I mean, all the characters are just like good to me. I don't know. It's just I like how Anne Hathaway's character that she's trying to like, cause she's in love with one of the astronauts that went out to the different planets that are potentially good to live on.
Yeah, viable.
Yeah. So like that's her drive. Like she admits to it. Like yeah, I want to go because I love him and I appreciate that. And also, man, I like time. Time is important. And the theme of time, when they go down in that planet where like the time is like different, so like an hour there is like 7 years or
something like that.
Man, when they're on that planet, I'm like, get the fuck out of there! Like I'm saying in my head, like get the fuck out of there! And,
wasting
like,
time.
And like the guy, one of the scientists dies. I forgot his name. I don't know. Like the guy that's he's a serial killer.
Oh right? Yeah, that guy.
Yeah. So. Yeah. You feel it, and like when they come back on the ship, you see the consequences of that. Where the bald guy, he's like older when he gets back on.
Yeah, that and like Matthew McConaughey goes to like check on his family.
Yeah,
he gets all these messages that have been going for 7 years.
Bro,
and you're like, what?
that is that
fucks with you.
That's moments like that. You could have like a crazy intricate plot. That made me care about what the fuck is going on. I want him to succeed.
Yeah, we need to see the impact. That's what we didn't get with like Tenet. That's
not at all.
It's such a fucking problem. Or even Dunkirk. Like I just wish I had seen like the impact of what all this meant, because that makes it so much more meaningful when you do see it. I'm supposed to feel it, and I do in Interstellar for sure. I definitely like this one a lot. It's just
I know, I understand. I'm trying to explain why I like this.
I appreciate it. I appreciate that. I like it. I like your choice a little bit more now.
I'm trying to explain it as best as possible.
Being incorrect, you can only get so much better.
Look, man. Aren't you the comic book guy? You love Batman. Batman's your favorite superhero, right?
I don't like Batman.
You don't like Batman. You bought fucking Batarangs.
I don't even care about Batman.
You throw it in my face. Anyways, this is getting long. Okay. Yeah. I'm just trying to explain why I like this movie.
I understand. No,
I like this movie.
I'm messing with you. Okay.
Okay.
I just like to fuck with you, but it's perfectly fine to be wrong.
It's perfectly fine. And I love like how you like your perfect day is just walking around, get lost, and find like maybe like a weird statue or something like that.
Yeah, like wandering around.
Yeah. I want to do that and I want to go in space and just go to different planets.
That would be sweet.
And just go to uncharted planets and just see like what's the differences. Like the one planet was water, just straight up water. It's weird. And then like the planet, and then we go further down and like just deeper into. And then and also I like how they explained the black hole, like how he cuts the paper and like in the time folded. They explained it really well. I don't understand physics and all that quantum physics.
And I can't tell you if it's accurate or not.
Yeah, but I believe it. It's believable.
Yeah, you understand enough to get the story.
Yeah,
right, and that's what's important.
Yeah, so I understand that, and it can get like it gets crazy. Like it goes into like the abstract at the end. Yeah. I understand. Like I know you don't like Matt Damon as an actor.
I don't like him anymore. I'm starting to not like him.
I like. So that's the only person that survived when they're trying to find all the people that went to the uncharted planets, and he's the only one that survived. And he turns on them, and I understand why he would do that. Imagine being. I don't know how long he was alone for. Imagine being alone with no human contact for that long. I understand why he did it, but he's still an asshole for it. He's still a coward. The only part of this movie where it's like it is a little bit like long-winded sometimes. I feel like it just took too long after what he like Matt Damon's trying to get on to the space station, and like it's a little bit long. That's like the only thing I was talking about, like shorten it up a little bit. But Matthew McConaughey, he sacrificed himself to like I'm not sure what really he went into the
wormhole.
Event Horizon, what's it called, like the wormhole. So anything goes then. Like we don't understand what happens in that, and I like the abstract nature of it. I like at first time I was like it feels like too easy, convenient, but I guess I'm more optimistic. This has like a happy ending, which I was not expecting, and I don't know. It's like heartwarming. I just don't get that from Nolan movies.
Yeah, you really don't. And it's weird to see it in something that's so it's very grounded in concept and like I guess physics and astrophysics and the idea of time but I do love when things are like everything's informed itself, right? Mm-hmm. So like because you see the past, right, when McConaughey's on Earth and like books are falling off the shelf, right?
Yeah, they establish it.
Lines of sand are in like binary code or Morse code or whatever. Yeah. He's the reason he went to space. Mm-hmm. And he gives also his daughter, like, I guess the key to, like, figuring out plan A. That's fucking insane.
That's cool.
That's like...
And he's, like, working the time with the Morse code.
And how he was able to do that
time, like the sands of time, man.
People in the future sent the message from this wormhole thing. So it's like they sent him to send himself. It's like...
And...
What?
Yeah, and it has impact, unlike some fucking movies.
Yeah, and it is a high concept, but again, I feel like you understand enough of it to get the story. So it's like, that's why I didn't like Tenet for that reason. And this one, it works for me because I understood what was going on and understand why it mattered.
Yeah, and I don't know if it makes sense for him to do that, but we're getting to like uncharted territories.
Yeah, I don't know if it like makes like actual literal sense, but like in a sci-fi world, who cares?
Yeah, that's why.
Whatever.
It's imaginative, man.
Yeah,
it's like, whoa, are we able to get to that one day?
It served the story.
Okay,
that's what's important, right?
And then he gets to have the reunion at the end where like you're like on the space station. It's like folded.
Yeah, that was cool.
I was like, I want to go there. This like it's just stuff I would love to do. This is like my wildest imagination. I would want to do this.
Yeah.
I was lost into this movie. Other movies I wasn't as much. So I was in it the whole entire way. And the performances are great.
They are. Yeah.
So I mean, yeah. So that's why it's my favorite one.
Well,
and I don't think that it's like minuscule. I guess it's just like because it's what it's about. That's why I like it. I'll put it atop of The Dark Knight. But The Dark Knight, it's great masterpiece. God tier, like you were saying.
I mean, like we've been saying, like these top 5, man, they're so good.
Oh yeah,
none of these are bad movies.
No, not even close.
I think all of them are great movies.
Yeah, some of the best movies I've ever seen.
So I'm just surprised that you put that as your number 1.
It had a huge impact. I was like, whoa, okay. I fought with it. I fought for it. I was like, because people don't, like you're saying, you don't really like that movie as much. And
well,
like,
not as much as The Dark Knight.
Yeah,
I did like it more second time around.
It's a controversial opinion, but it's just my type of movie.
You're just trying to get these hot takes out here. Is what you're trying to do, man. You're just trying to shake things up, get more
I'm just
views,
trying to be honest here, man. I'm just trying to be honest, okay?
It's a really interesting choice.
Honest. It's not interesting. It's the right choice.
It seems like you made the choice just to be different and difficult.
You know me. You know I love space.
I know you love controversy.
I do like to revoke people.
So well, you're going to with that choice.
But so that was our number one.
That's fine.
Your number one is, of course,
The Dark Knight. Look. So I've actually contended. Like I said before, I have like gone back and forth what I thought was Nolan's best movie, because I like to think of this stuff. Look, I have my favorites, right? The Dark Knight is my favorite Nolan movie, but do I think it's his best movie, like in a more objective, like film school sense? For a while, I thought Inception was better, but rewatching these like back to back to back, I'm like, damn, The Dark Knight is like near perfection. So
yeah, I can switch. Like honestly, I can switch it back and forth. Like first two they're malleable. Like I can do it. But right now, I'm like on the Interstellar plane, the Interstellar ship.
There's not much I critique about The Dark Knight. I've already talked about it a little bit. I don't like Maggie Gyllenhaal's performance. I do think some of the edits are kind of choppy, and I think this is just a Nolan problem. I kind of wish he would just
don't think he cares.
Just hang on a shot a little longer, you know, just a little bit longer, make me feel it a little bit more. But The Dark Knight, that being said, with all that, it balanced everything so well. It balanced the characters, the dynamics, the performances are great from everybody, I think. And the story, man, I never feel like I can just like settle down in this movie.
No.
Like you can't just like stop, because like from front to back the plot just goes. And this took a lot of influence from The Long Halloween, which is like one of the best like Batman comics like ever, but mostly in the way that it portrays Harvey Dent. And I like that. Because the biggest thing about Two-Face is that he wasn't just like a bad guy, he is two-faced, right? He's like really good and really bad, and I think they do his descent very well, very, very well in this movie. So I don't have much more to say about it. If you can't tell, I like The Dark Knight a lot.
I love it. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's the best superhero movie of all time.
Yeah, what you said about it being a masterpiece, it definitely is. I think this is like, watching all these, like I said, I had thought Inception was gonna be my number one, and I didn't even think it was good. I think it was my number one of the decade.
It was, yeah. I was surprised. No, I wasn't surprised by that. I wasn't. It was in my top 10 too.
Yeah, but I really, just watching them back, I just felt like The Dark Knight just is, it's a little more exciting, I guess. It just has a little bit more. It's not as high concept, but I don't care, because I care more about the impact of the story and what it means in a more philosophical sense. I like philosophical stuff and like questions of morality and what is good and what is bad. And I think The Dark Knight, like that's the whole theme of the movie. Like everything that happens is driving that theme.
Yeah,
and
I agree. It's great. It's awesome.
All right, I'm gonna stop talking about it because
I want to say also I like that they like Joker is baiting him to reveal his identity and like the conflict between like should Batman reveal it, because people are dying.
Exactly, morality. It's like what is good at this point, because we don't know anymore. Like what do I do to be good?
I love that theme.
And it's tough because Batman. I mean, Alfred says it in the movie, but he's like, you have to make the decision to be better than good. You have to be something that people need, which isn't necessarily the best thing. And it just really makes you think.
And that's a heavy weight to carry.
It is.
That's insane.
The guilt. And I think that's so cool. And that's one of the things you can do with Batman. You can't really do with like Superman, who's like a goody two-shoes who just...
Superman's the most overrated. I don't understand him. That's a different discussion.
But yeah, I definitely think this is like, I mean, it's the best Batman movie.
Oh yeah,
so far. I mean, the Batman.
Man, I don't know.
If it's better than The Dark Knight, I'd be surprised. But it
possible.
has potential. But I mean,
I don't know if that's possible, man.
We'll see. We'll see. But I definitely think this. Yeah, it's the best Batman movie, and it is the number one Christopher Nolan movie objectively, and all other opinions are wrong.
I guess so.
Thank you for coming.
You just know so much more than me.
TED Talk.
You gotta defer to your elders. So I am.
You are old.
I am older.
You are old. You're right. You are very old.
I am. I was born before you, but not by much. In the same
You
decade.
are very old.
Like the same
you were
year
born
almost.
Back in the day.
Back in the day. You were just like last week.
I was basically
back in the day.
Just like
fuck you.
Out.
I'm still.
Alright, I'm tired, man.
You tired? You tired of talking?
I'm tired. Tired of talking, man.
So, are you happy that we did this?
Oh yeah.
Was it fun?
It is. You know what? Because like I said with like some of these, like my opinion flipped a little bit. Like,
mine did too.
Like Interstellar, I remember not liking that much, and I liked it maybe a little more than Dunkirk at the time. But now I
Oh,
rewatched
really?
it.
You didn't like it that much? Wow.
I just was like, why did I need this movie? Like, I think it just was like, I don't know if it was the mood I was in when I saw it.
I don't know.
Sometimes that will ruin a movie for me, but yeah, I mean, rewatching it, man, I liked it so much more. And maybe it's because I was also trying way too hard to understand everything back then, and now I've watched more movies that are like high concept. I have like a new way of like analyzing everything that's just easier, and I'm like, okay, what's the story though? Like, and I think that helps me understand, ironically, the concept even better. So, yeah, I mean, my opinion flipped, and like, I mean, there's some movies I definitely never wanted to see again.
Yeah, the bottom two definitely.
Like Tenet, I kind of wanted to give another chance because I wanted to like it. I think it's a really cool, interesting concept, but man, that movie is a fucking stinker.
It needs to be destroyed one day. It really does.
It's really bad.
Never be seen by another human.
Yeah.
The Batman Begins, it was a big change for me. And The Prestige, one of my favorite movies now. It's of all time. I'm so glad I watched that. The best magician movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He's a great director of his movies.
Most of them.
Most of them. Oh, yeah, most of them.
So thank you, Christopher Nolan.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for all the hard work. Man, can't wait. So we're going to do another director.
We're going to do several new directors, right?
Mm-hmm. But our next one.
We got a big old list, too. A lot of different people. So the next one is going to be his favorite director, who I've also seen most of these movies.
Quentin Tarantino. We're going to do him next.
I wonder what your number one is.
It might change. You didn't expect Interstellar, number one.
I didn't.
So you never know.
I didn't, yeah.
So I look forward to it. I don't look forward to watching it with you because you... because you hate this one movie that I like. Oh, man,
I have to watch that again. We're not watching the extended version, though.
Oh, I don't even want to watch that. Fuck that. But we'll talk about it then. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in the next dimension.